Welcome to the Nerd Spectrum podcast, where Daisy feels the need to make every noise in the spectrum of sound just to mess with me.
It's like that video of Chrissy Teigen of just yelling. That's really like resonated with me. So I really wish I could like actually yell. But,
you said resonated. Right?
I'm tired.
So today was our first day at Comic-Con, and Daisy woke up at 6:30 in the morning.
Yes, to finish my stuff that I ended up wearing today and what I'm wearing tomorrow. So I'm very tired.
Yeah, she got 3 hours of sleep. Because Game of Thrones, when we were recording that, it was 2 in the morning. Or it ended at 2 in the morning.
And then we're here now. I took a little nap. I honestly have no idea what time or how long that nap was.
It was only 2 hours.
Okay.
Because we woke up at 1, I think, and then
and then and then I woke up in a panic, like, I need to buy deodorant and all these
gloves.
things. And gloves. And all these, like, things that I need for this weekend.
So it's been a ride, and obviously you're an introvert, so
mega
being out in public, having some people say, "Hey, let's get pictures with you" and stuff like that.
It's like in Sailor Moon, where like the evil people are always trying to steal the humans' energy,
and they pass out, right? It's not even like they die.
It's like I think it's like one of the first 5 episodes where it's like one of the like cons is like it's a jewelry store and they're like preying on like women's need to have fancy jewels and like look nice, and so they steal their energy through their jewels, and like they all like just faint and get like real weak like throughout the day because their
like
energy,
a bad mood ring.
Yeah, and so like their energy's being stolen by like these demon ladies and whatever, and it's just like that's how I feel.
You just want to drop.
I just feel like everybody's like stealing my energy while I'm out and about doing things, and like not that I don't like being stopped to get pictures of people or like, you know, like especially when it's a little kid, like I'm not gonna tell you no, but like it is like I had to talk to you too, like I'm or like I don't know, I just feel like it's nicer to be like, oh
yeah, be
blah,
like
blah, blah. It's like something instead of just like, you want a picture, okay, bye.
Yeah. I'm about it.
So
as an extrovert, I was like,
you were pleased with
cool.
yourself?
Yeah. I was surprised too, but I guess being in the Iron Spider suit makes after an Endgame. Which
is what we're talking about.
Yeah. Nice segue.
Honestly, I didn't even think about the fact that Endgame just came out and you were wearing an Iron Spider suit, so it makes so much more sense now why so many people were asking you for pictures.
What do you...
Well, because you wore it last year.
Yeah.
And nobody... Like, not as many people stopped.
Well, because it's like there's always Spider-Man.
Yes, there is.
Like, there's a never-ending
There was,
horde.
like, at least 50 Mileses.
Yeah, from Spider-Verse.
I saw a really tall Miles with a really short Miles that were there together, and I was like, oh, big Miles, little Miles, and I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, so that's also why I didn't want to do Peter B. Parker from that, because I have the Iron Spider suit, I don't have, like, a comic suit.
I don't care. I saw somebody with a Tobey Maguire suit being...
Peter B. Parker?
Yeah.
Even that works better than, like, but I don't know, maybe it's just, like, the spider logo for me is, like,
I mean,
too much.
get it, but, like, use what you have. That's what I'm gonna do. That's my Sunday cosplay. It was gonna be Padme from Attack of the Clones, but I changed it because I, like, low-key really don't want to wear that dress all day long.
But if you do the Star Wars meetup, you should probably do Rey. Or if you wanted to do the Star Wars meetup, you could still do Rey, and that's simpler. Also, you get to, like, not be in a giant dress and probably get stepped on.
Yeah, but there's also, like, I have major hiccups with that cosplay, too, because of those stupid armbands.
Oh, right, they're don't stay.
They're the bane of my existence. There's no way to get them to stick to me. And then also the little, like, flowy...
thingies.
The vest thing is also
the sashes? There's a word for it, but I don't know
I don't know what they are, but they're also really hard to keep on me properly without having, like, so many, like, of those pin cushions.
Why haven't you just, like, Velcroed it to yourself?
I don't know. Because you have to, I don't know.
There you go. Kind of a solution.
I'm just really done with it at this point. I'm just going to wait for the new one to come out.
She still has the sashes.
It's not as much, though. It looks shorter.
It does look shorter. Because I'm sure Daisy Ridley was like, I'm done with this.
She was like, I'm done with this. I can't do anything. Just how I am like, I'm done with this. I can't do anything.
Get snagged on everything.
Exactly. Like, you know when your, like, your, like, belt loops get stuck in, like, the doorknob?
That's happened very rarely, but yeah, sure.
Like, you know those situations? It's like that, but times 20.
Or a shirt gets caught on something.
Or just, you know, I think when I wore it at Celebration, I had a couple people step on it because it ended up somehow moving itself to where it was on the floor, and I was like, man, fuck this.
Because you're really short.
I am really short. Whoever, like, the lady that made that for me, she's fantastic, wonderful lady.
Dark Side Costumes?
Yeah, I don't remember.
On Etsy.
Yeah.
No, that's what it is, because, like, a lot of people in the Saber community reference her.
Okay,
for Kylo.
She's great. She made it, my Dark Side Rey, beautiful, but, like, I guess I didn't tell her how short I was.
Yeah.
Because
because
that was definitely made for someone who is much taller than I am in terms of that. Like, the pants fit fine and everything else, like, fits fine. The shirt's a little long, too. Again, I think I just told her, like, my measurements in terms of, like, how wide I am and not how tall I am. Because, like, everything is just a little longer than it should be.
The pants look like they fit.
The pants do, but I think that's just because they're supposed to be a little bungee, and I, like, tie them up kind of funny.
Okay.
Whatever, we're getting off topic.
Well, we were going to segue into Endgame, and then you went into cosplay issues and gripes.
I guess that's for another time.
Yeah, we can do that Monday or Tuesday.
When I'm done with this weekend and I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, maybe listen to this a year from now and tell yourself, hey, don't do these things. Anyway, so yeah, the Russos came out and said, they were on Good Morning America, I think, and they said, spoiler ban lifts Monday.
Yes.
Completely understand. Not everybody could see it the first week. AMC's site crashed. There were a lot of issues with like that. So.
And everyone's like, I gotta see it.
Yeah, you know.
So. It's hard to find time, especially if you have like a family. Like if you have kids or something.
Yeah.
Like.
Hobbies. Basically, you live your life.
Basically, if you have a life.
It's hard. So, we're lucky we just have our dogs. But.
And no responsibilities.
I mean...
Just kidding, we have many responsibilities.
Yeah.
But we prioritize these things.
Sort of. I think it's a bit of an overstatement, but sure.
I mean, we saw it in opening night, so
but we saw it in 3D, and I'm not gonna lie, it ruined the experience for me a little bit.
I didn't really think about it.
It's because it started to hurt my eyes. I think, like, one of my lenses was starting to pop out. So I could see the screen a little bit, and it was warped.
Oh.
And it hurt my eye.
That's weird.
The lenses were just like caved in or something a little bit too much, so it really hurt like towards the end when things started going down. But yeah, so the Russo said the spoiler ban lives on Monday, but given that this is coming out on Saturday, the majority of people that we're going to see it this weekend will have seen it. Probably. Well, no, I can't imagine that many people go on a Sunday. It's the holy day, of course.
So?
So we're gonna go ahead and release this tomorrow. And
I mean, I guess technically today because it's midnight.
Oh god, it is.
What up? We do things really last minute.
Yeah, well, you know, we were gonna try and see it again today, but Nap and Con Crunch just ate all the time.
Yeah.
So I've seen it twice.
I've seen it once.
I basically marathoned it.
Back to back.
Back to back, yeah. You and Nick, 3D, and then me, my sister, and her boyfriend. IMAX, not 3D, which is so much better. So, we're going to go through the plot real quick, the big plot points, the big stuff, the big reveals and stuff, whatnots, and talk about...
everything and everything.
Yeah, so, obviously, big spoilers, lots of thoughts, maybe some speculation on what it means for the future, because it really feels like...
the end.
The end. Like, if that was like it, and they were like, alright, we're done for the next 10 years. Like,
and it'd be like, okay.
Yeah, because, like, how do you go further? So, starting out, there was some footage that was not in the first 15 minutes, like the Russo brothers said. I think all the footage actually was used in the movie. But, you know, gotta do everything you can to mislead people.
For the trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I really was like, nothing in the trailer is gonna be real.
Yeah, after they said that there's lies.
Yeah, and then literally all of it.
The Ant-Man stuff, too, was, like, one of the biggest things, because that's when, you know, the base gets bombed. But okay, so, in order.
It's just wild.
In order, what happens first? It opens with Hawkeye, right? Everybody thinks he's training his daughter to be Hawkeye.
Another Hawkeye?
Yeah. I don't know. I know, like, Kate Bishop. I don't think Kate Bishop is his daughter in the comics. Do you know?
I don't.
Okay. But I'm sure if they want to spin it that way for, like, a young Avengers, given how this movie ends, they could do that. Or, like, if a TV show for the Young Avengers happens, they could do that. So I'm not really mad about it, or even like the West Coast Avengers, because that's where Hawkeye and Hawkeye Jr. are right now with Gwenpool.
Hawkeye Jr.
I don't know what else to call her.
Yeah.
They're both Hawkeye. Hawkeye Senior, Hawkeye Jr.
I think she just is Hawkeye.
So his family got dusted.
Like the whole ass family.
Who puts mayo on a hot dog? That question had me so messed up.
See, but I feel like Mexicans do. Because that's the thing. Like, I know somebody, when they said it, I was like, that's weird. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that at some point my family had hot dogs, and someone or several someones put mayonnaise on the bun before they put the hot dog.
That's like a sign of a psychopath.
I don't know, but, it seems real. Because I, have the vaguest memory of, the hot dogs being, real burnt.
Okay, well, I'm the child of this because they're all like mustard and I'm here like, yeah, ketchup.
Yeah, same.
Who likes mustard? I'm not big on mustard. It's too spicy. It messes up with the taste.
I can't believe you just said it was too spicy.
It's not too spicy, but I just don't like how it jives with everything else.
Got it.
Hawkeye's family gone immediately. It sets up basically the movie. Because after that, it sort of just jumps into how everybody's dealing with the loss, right?
Yeah, they're all messed up at Avengers building facility.
Yeah.
Not tower.
I know, I missed the tower.
Yeah.
Avengers base?
Yeah.
Avengers headquarters, something like that?
Yeah.
How
everyone's dealing with it, and then...
you see Tony in space playing with Nebula. And they're both just trying to make the best of a shitty situation.
Oh, that was so funny, him teaching her.
Just football?
Yeah. I was like, okay.
Right.
What else are you going to do?
And poor Nebula, right? Every time she's lost anything that comes with the connotation, she's going to be dismantled and repaired and, made to be a superior being in some fashion. So Tony's like, you don't need to fight. We're good. And then when she wins, he's like, fair game. She looks at his hand and it's like, the hell's this?
He was like, kindness? I've never experienced it.
Right? So...
That happens, and then they almost die. Well, Tony almost dies. Nebula doesn't seem like she was having as hard of a time.
Because she's a fucking robot. She's a cyborg.
Yeah, but I think she still needs, substance and, oxygen, I assume.
Probably. I think she could get off.
She's,
a little bit better than he could.
She's like a cyborg. You still need, your human functions.
Sort of. She doesn't bleed, does she? I don't actually. Now that you bring this up, I don't think that she needs shit because I'm pretty sure she gets thrown out of what's his name, Ronan's ship at one point, and basically pieces herself back together.
There's many times where she's just working on herself.
Yeah. So you know what? I don't know how that.
Regardless, Tony's about to die, and then Captain Marvel shows up and is like, "Hello, you need help? Okay, I got you." And then they go back to Earth.
And we find out Pepper, conveniently, not dead.
Not dusted.
Not dusted. And the others are... There wasn't... For actually, going back, Captain Marvel, her scene wasn't in it. Her end credit scene where she shows up and she's like, where's Fury?
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought they were going to use that to send her to find Tony. Or, that's a good, in my mind, the way that works is that's how she found Tony. Is they talk about Thanos and they talk about Titan,
and then they're like, oh, but our friends went somewhere.
Well, Rocket knew because they split up. Remember?
Yeah.
So Tony's a dick as per usual,
and it's like, this is your fault, Cap, because we weren't together. Blah,
yeah.
Blah,
you
blah.
said you would be there and you weren't. Where were you? It's like
it's just you were the one that followed that spaceship into space.
You made the decision. Yeah, so that annoyed the shit out of me. Tony annoyed me a good chunk in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's not as annoying at the latter half of the movie, but in the beginning where he's like, "This is your fault," blaming Cap for it, and where were you? And it's this is what we do, right? We avenge, we don't prevenge. And he's like, "I said that we needed a shield to defend the world."
It's but that still wouldn't work.
Yeah, regardless,
it would not have stopped Thanos. And it's just why can't you ever just fucking take the blame, man?
For real.
You fucked up. The only one you could really actually put blame on would be Quill.
Yeah, but I mean, Tony would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
But I also probably wouldn't have owned up to that. So that happens, and then what? It's just 5 years later.
No, and then they go into space.
Oh, fuck, yeah, I'm completely skipping.
Yeah, what the hell are you talking about?
I'm blanking, I'm sorry.
Come on,
It's been a long day.
But you're the one that's on 2 times.
I'm drinking coffee, so I'm waking up.
Anyways, they go into space and they find Thanos on his planet. And
The
it's
garden.
like, yeah, on his, heaven, I guess. And it's like, well, that's it. No more Infinity Stones. And they're like, what? Thor chops off his head super dopely. And I was like, wow, they really did that, huh?
It was bad because that was a rumor that was going around. And the second that they went, I was like, oh, it's happening. You know what I mean?
I
was like, they're going to do it. They're taking him out.
I don't know. They were like, we're going to go get him. And then they actually went in the spaceship to go get him. And I was like, what is happening? I was like, we're only like 10 minutes in this movie. What is going on? In my head, I knew exactly what was going to happen because I always knew it was going to have to do with time travel.
Because it's so heavily implied with Scott and, like, the quantum realm and, like...
And just, in general, it's the only thing that, like, makes sense. And it's such a comic thing.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, surprisingly, the most important part. Like...
Lead up
to this movie.
Yeah, 100%. And it's, like, weird because you wouldn't think that.
Everybody was like, Captain Marvel's the most powerful Avenger. She's going to be the one to help, like, to take down Thanos and blah, blah, blah. And
it was like...
psych. Without Ant-Man's knowledge of the quantum realm...
Yeah,
nothing
and,
would
like,
have been
all his
successful.
training and everything, it would be like, that's it. So, like, that's wild. But, yeah, they went there and, like, in my head, I'm like, well, I know they have to do time travel and that's what they're going to do. But I was like, but if...
There's no antagonist.
But it was just... Exactly, I was like, there's nobody, like, to fight against. It's just to fight for, which is such a weird concept to just have the movie just be like they're fighting for, like, getting everybody back. Instead of, like, well, we gotta fight to defeat something kind of thing. So, like, that was weird and I was like... this isn't gonna happen, and then they fucking chopped his head off, and I was like, oh shit, like, they did that.
Poor Nebula, too, because the blood just all over her face.
Yeah.
Ugh. That sucked. Also, we skipped over what I appreciated as, like, one of the best lines of the movie. Up until this point, I thought you were Build-A-Bear. To Rocket.
Oh my god.
Tony had some solid lines. Even in his, like, pissy little state.
Yeah.
That was good. Rocket's like, well, maybe I am.
He's like, I don't fucking know what I am.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what a Build-A-Bear is.
He doesn't even know what a raccoon is.
And then it's the 5 years later.
Yeah. So now it's 2023.
Yes.
Presumably.
Yes.
Because there's still issues timeline-wise where, like, for a while, it was not rumored, but there was speculation that Iron Man was actually 2010, even though it came out in 2008. So it's either 2023 or 2025.
Okay.
But either way... it's been a long-ass time.
Yeah.
And you get Joe Russo in Cap's little rehab.
Being gay.
Yeah, first openly gay character in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, although I firmly believe that there are already gay characters.
Who do you think's gay in that? Like, I guess in the catalog of characters.
Captain Marvel is totally gay.
You think Captain Marvel's gay?
Hell yeah.
Why?
Because she's totally gay. And Brie Larson really wants her to be gay, so I'm like, sure, let's roll with it.
I think it's more likely she's bi, given the aliens. You can't really... because not every alien has, like, a one species, you know what I mean?
Well, if it's aliens, then we're going to include the aliens and, like, who you fucking... then I guess technically
Star-Lord?
you could be, like, pansexual.
Yeah. Because, I mean, well, Star-Lord was, like, this, I don't even remember what it was.
With, like, weird teeth and stuff or something?
Yeah, the one that tried to rip out his thorax
yeah!
to his neck.
And it was like, that's not...
that's not right.
Like, that doesn't seem like an actual gender, so we're just gonna go, you're all around. Like, just fucking whatever.
I'm pretty sure as long as he thinks it's female, it works.
Yeah,
so.
Probably. And I've always, like, since we watched the movie, I'm like, Valkyrie's gay.
I don't know...
and I'm also pretty sure it was implied in the movie.
With Hela?
No. And with that, like, her flashback scene.
Oh, with the other Valkyrie?
Yeah, the blonde one.
I don't know, man. I think that's just all of them dying. So
it is, but, like, I don't know.
You know, it's like any war thing where it's like, we're gonna die together, so you, like, hold hands, or, like, you just, you know, we're gonna go out.
I'm just saying, like, you can use it.
But I also think there was, like, some director or some writer was like, maybe, or, like, the possibility for her hasn't been, like, taken out. Valkyrie, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 years later, Joe Russo's in Cap's rehab, and then you see Black Widow talking to Okoye, who's presumably running
Somewhere,
Wakanda.
yeah, across the seas.
Because she's the one that's reporting in, not M'Baku. Did he die? Did he get dusted? Yeah, I think he did.
I can't remember.
I remember him being like, "What is this?" when he sees people falling around him.
No, I think he I don't think he did.
He survived?
Yeah, I think it was just like...
Okay, so I'm going to assume the heroes of Wakanda, as far as like whenever they were taking out Killmonger, so like the Jabari, his mother didn't die, and Okoye, they're running that because Shuri was confirmed dashed.
Yeah.
Who else was in that? There was Rocket, Captain Marvel, or Carol, and Rhodey. They already immediately say, Captain Marvel, probably not going to see me for a long time. So that completely took that off the table.
It was kind of like, okay, because it's like, not that I felt like it impacted much of the movie, but I also feel like, because I actually really liked Captain Marvel, like the movie, and I like the character and how they're doing it in the MCU. So like, it didn't like take away from the story for her not to be there, because it makes sense. Like, they're only there for their planet, but she has like all of these other things that she's
got the Kree homeworld. Technically, she's got like all the, I guess it's Xandar, if there's anything left of it.
Yeah, and it's like, and you got to assume that she's probably also helping like the Nova Corps or something, like, because they are also like a limited resource.
Yeah. Space police.
Yeah, so it's like there's a lot that needs to be done, so it makes sense, and like she does end up coming back later on in the movie. Also,
she really wouldn't serve a purpose, like,
throughout all of it, because it's such a like personal story, and it's like she doesn't know these people, she doesn't care.
Yeah,
like she has other things to take care of. But I just don't like that can be used against her and her character in the movie, and people will be like, she's supposed to be the most powerful Avenger, and like she's not even in this stupid movie, she didn't do anything, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's just like,
that's just like the only argument you could use is like she would serve no purpose in the film because she doesn't have any relation to these people.
Yeah.
She doesn't know the history of the stones as well as these people do, because as they point out later, all of them have been directly infected or almost killed by.
Yeah.
Not infected, affected, or almost killed by one of them. So, you know, like, that's just how that goes down. She doesn't really, like... None of it really pertains to her.
She can't really do anything
Yeah.
about it. Like, she just got to...
Also, her powers wouldn't really benefit it in the long run either. You know, like, Hulk only works because Hulk hulks. If that makes sense. Like, but if you see a shooting... And then, like... You see a laser woman somewhere, you're like, well, that wasn't there before.
Exactly, and then the whole time travel thing, too, like... Because it all pertains to places that they've already been and they've already existed in, and she hasn't.
Yeah, she can't help out.
Yeah, so there's no point in her being in the movie, but I just don't like that it's like, it can be used as like something against a character that people already don't like anyways.
Also, I'm pretty sure it was filming before Captain Marvel was.
It was.
Yeah, so like, you know, I'm sure they had like a base plan. I watched
her and Scarlett Johansson on Ellen, and...
They were on Ellen?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I watched their interview on it, and she kind of asked Brie Larson about like the filming process for Endgame and like all of this stuff. She was like, "Yeah, I filmed all of that before Captain Marvel." And like the other heroes were like, "Well, what are your powers?" And she was like, "I don't know."
She's like, "I don't know, but I can push a Jeep up a mountain now."
Yeah, it was kind of just like, I don't know. I have like a semblance of what it is, but like since they hadn't started filming or given her a script or anything, she doesn't know her own origin story, so she can't speak on it.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's kind of like she's just there.
Yeah. Rocket's in space with Nebula, I think, and they're just watching out for any like threats coming in, which is weird considering Thanos being dead. Like, there really isn't any space threats now.
I mean, same could be said with Star Wars when the Emperor died, but that still rebuilt itself.
That's a government. That's a whole other thing.
Just saying.
That's the fall of a regime, not like the fall of like an orchestrator of like armies.
I'm just saying.
So then they leave. Carol says good luck to Rhodey, and he's like, well, you know, a bunch of the cartel were dead. Were found in this horrific way. Couldn't get a hand on their guns.
Yep.
She's like, well, that's great. And it's like, well, it's Clint. Probably.
Like, most likely. And it's just like, I love Scarlett Johansson's acting because, like, you see
She just wants to cry.
she just wants to cry, but it's like she can't because she's in charge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, you don't want to be seen as weak. And, like, it's stupid because everybody wants to cry. Like, obviously, everyone's having a hard time even 5 years later.
That's the maternal she's the maternal figure of the MCU, right? So, like, your mom would never cry in front of you. She'd never want you to see that. She'd never want you to see that, so she wouldn't want them to see that.
Yeah, and then, Cap shows up and is like, well, you better,
I'd
take care of yourself, too.
I'd cook you something, but it already looks like you're pretty miserable.
Yeah.
This is the line he says when he comes in. And they talk about, they can't forget. They just won't be able to.
Yeah, and then Scott shows up. No, and then it jumps to San Francisco.
Yeah, it jumps to his van.
The real MVP.
The rat?
The rat. Because, or else he would have been stuck there forever. And
right.
Oh my god, it was just so sad seeing him search for Cassie's name.
Oh yeah, the what, I don't even know what to call them, but the tablets.
Memorials.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then finding his own name instead.
What the hell? And he has no idea what's going on. He sees that kid, and he's like, "Kid, what happened here?" And the kid's just like...
Kid's like, fuck you. Like, what do you mean what happened? Like, everybody fucking knows what happened kind of thing.
Or maybe not even everybody knows what happened, but just, like, people died.
Like, so many people died.
Just, like...
And it's just like, if you don't fucking know that, like, this happened...
For seemingly no reason, everybody died.
Yeah, then, fuck you. Kind of thing, and then...
But he finds Cassie.
And she's grown.
Yeah. She'd be like 15, 16 now?
Probably, yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss that little girl actor. She was so cute.
Yeah,
she was adorable. She wanted to be his wasp.
But now she can't be.
Yeah, well, there's a Stature, I think is the name of his daughter.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of that going around as far as theories, along with the Kate Bishop thing.
Yeah.
For little Hawkeye. So... What happens? Then he shows up at the compound.
And then, yeah.
He's like, you guys remember me? He's like,
I fought that one time in Germany.
He's like, Ant-Man, I know you know that.
He's like, I blew up.
Paul Rudd had a lot of good, like, lines in this. Like, a lot of the comedy relied on him and, like, I guess Hulk or Thor.
Professor Hulk.
Mr. Fix-It is his comic name.
I love him.
Yeah. So they go to Tony. And he talks about... Well, because Paul Rudd reveals, like, it's only been 5 hours for him.
Yeah.
But apparently 5 years for the rest of the world.
And then he realized, like, if you can fix... Like, if you know where you're going and what you can... Like, what you're doing, you can get somewhere else.
Do you think he ended up somewhere? Do you think he just accidentally maybe found a little loop? Because Michelle Pfeiffer said, watch out.
Yeah, she did.
But if he was in there for 5 hours not knowing what the fuck was going on...
I mean, I don't think he, like, actually went anywhere, but I feel like he saw windows.
Oh, okay.
And saw things. Like, that's what I...
Imagine.
Yeah, like, that's what makes sense to me in terms of that, because, like, if he got out somewhere, how the hell would he get back in without the technology?
His technology technically... Well, he could probably get back to the quantum zone by just going, like, micro-size, like, just, like, double do it. Because, I mean, that's what happened in the first one, right?
Yeah.
So, in theory, that could work that way.
Yeah.
But that'd be funny if, like, Ant-Man 3 is just, like, he's in the Wild West or something like that, and he's just trying to figure shit out.
He's just like...
Maybe he meets a Ghost Rider or something. That'd be cool, now that they've acquired Fox.
Yeah.
That'd be the weirdest team-up movie ever.
I love that Ant-Man's the one that was like, yes, time travel. Like, let's try that. Clearly, that's the answer. And then,
of course...
And everyone else is like, what?
They go to Tony, who has...
A daughter!
Morgan... That he talked about in the first, or Infinity War anyway.
A 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Wild.
Crazy. And she's adorable. She's so cute.
Yeah, I love you 3000.
And they go up to him and they're like, Back to the Future. Time heist. And he's like, that's not how that works. It's like, there's so many theories on how it works, and you're giving me movie rules.
That's all we have to go off of.
Right.
And I also, too, like... They said time travel, I'm like, Back to the Future.
Oh my god. As somebody that's only seen it once, I thought, like, Doctor Who, I thought, like, so many other things before I thought Back to the Future.
I thought Back to the Future. Back to the Future is an iconic time travel movie. Don't fucking come at it with this disrespect, but whatever. Anyways, yes. And then Tony realizes it is actually possible. He figured out the formula, and it's like, man, like you see his selfishness in it, like so bad because he was blessed enough to have Pepper not get dusted and like have his family, and it's basically everything he could ever hope for.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, but the world is so fucked. Like you can't just leave it for everyone else to suffer and like feel that pain.
And also just his need to
while
fix.
You're just not.
Like he's,
he can't leave things alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then,
and you see him struggle with that.
Yeah.
So hard.
Then you see them go to Professor Hulk.
Well, yeah. No, yeah, you're right. They go to Professor Hulk. Who, I don't know if he's like a YouTube star or like a teacher or
like how the hell those kids just know who he is and they're like, yes.
Well, he is the Hulk. But like, yeah, where it's just like, he's wearing clothes
like,
now.
what has he been doing for the past 5 years where people are like, yes.
Yeah, they're embracing the Hulk. They're not scared of the Hulk. He has a fucking, like, a bowl the size of the table, almost, of eggs. He's like, Scott, you want some eggs? Have some eggs. Like, take some eggs. He's like, I'm just kidding. Like, he's joking around. Like, it's so fucking weird.
It's so weird.
And Nat and Cap are just sitting there like, yeah, of course. But like, Scott's yes, I'm so confused. Like, what happened here?
And honestly, Scott is me. Because I'm like, what is happening right now?
Poor Scott. He's like, you want to take a picture with me? I'm Ant-Man. And he's like, the kids are like, no.
And then Hulk's like, no, you want to take a picture with him. Come on, take a picture with him. Like, he's going to be sad. Like, come on.
Poor Scott doesn't get any respect.
No, he really doesn't. No one knows who he is.
So they talk about it, and he's like, in theory, this is possible, but, like, I know nothing about it.
He's like, I'm not the guy. But, like, he has to be.
Yeah, because Tony doesn't want to own up, goddammit. So then it jumps back to Tony, who accidentally sprays his picture with Peter while washing the dishes. Mm-hmm. And the first thing he said when he came back was, I lost the kid.
Yeah.
So like, that really stings.
Yeah.
Right? Because that was his first father relationship, or father-son relationship, that he actually cared about. Because he tells Peter in Homecoming he wants him to be better than he is. So he messes around. He figures it out. He says shit in front of his kid twice.
Yep. She's like, shit.
Yeah. She extorts him for popsicles.
I mean, she knows how to play the game.
He goes to Pepper and he's like, so what's new in composting? And she's like, well, and he's like, I figured it out. It's time travel. I figured it. It's done. Mm-hmm. And if you get that perfect setup for the ending where she says, you figured it out, or he's like, I figured it out, but I could go to bed. I could put a pin in it now and just not do anything. And she, you get the setup for the ending where she's like, but could you rest?
Yeah.
And, damn. Don't you hate when your wife knows what to say?
Yep.
It sucks.
Sure, she does. Feels good for the wife.
Yeah, I'm sure. Until it bites him in the ass.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So, he shows up. They figure out a way to manipulate time, not time travel. Because Scott's in a proto suit for an Ant-Man, a proto Ant-Man suit, I think.
Yes. But then he just keeps...
He first turns into a teenager?
Yes.
And then an old man. And then a baby.
No, then a kid. And then a baby.
And then he's him.
And then he's back to himself. And then he's like, I don't know who peed my pants.
But I peed my pants.
One of his peed his pants.
Right. So Steve's like, well, shit, man. What are we going to do? Go out. Tony's just fucking... Literally... I don't blame him because there's no traffic, technically, I guess. But just driving his fucking car like a maniac. Mm-hmm. And he's like... So... He turned into a baby, didn't he? He's like, and Cap's just, like, yeah, among other things. Like, you pulled time through him. You didn't put him through time. So they start working on it. He figures it out. He returns the shield. Which is hugely symbolic, right?
Yes.
It means things are finally...
Amended. Or getting to be amended. Yeah, getting to be
amended.
And then Rocket and Nebula show back up.
Mm-hmm. and blow poor Scott's...
Lunch. And then
Hulk is
like,
Hulk's
here.
So nice.
He saw literally those 2 tacos in between his freaking thumb and foot. Oh my god. I fucking love the Hulk.
He just smiles
so much.
at him and continues on.
He's like, here you go. Here's some tacos. Like, it looks like that hamster on YouTube that has all, like, the mini food.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, has a serving table and things.
Exactly. It looks like that.
And what? Does Natasha go for Clint now? Is that what happens?
Yes.
Because they're
She
getting
goes to
everybody,
get-
or people
yeah.
are showing up.
They're getting the gang back together.
And she shows up in Tokyo.
And he's murdering people, which,
Well,
like...
he's taking out the Yakuza.
Like, honestly, I can't be mad at him because he's taking out bad people, and like, he has a point, like, why did, like, I lose my family, but you're still here and you're a piece of shit?
Yeah, you got Thanos, or my family got Thanos, but you get me. Ooh.
Oh, yes.
They really showed how badass Hawkeye can be, given, like, no bounds.
Yeah.
Where he just wants to
And how,
kill
like,
and be violent.
actually cool he is.
Mm-hmm. The sword is pretty badass. The
he
outfit's pretty badass.
He doesn't get the goddamn respect he deserves.
Yeah.
Like, anything else. Because everyone's always like, he's gonna be the one to die because he's lame.
And also, he did not get manipulated by Wanda. He did not have his mind melted. In Age of Ultron, he saw
He
it
knew
coming,
better.
and he got her like right in the forehead too.
Oh, yeah, he's a fucking badass, okay?
Yeah, reflexes are crazy.
He's always been a badass. He'd be cooler if he was deaf.
That's such a weird hang up.
I know, it really bothers me that he's not.
He wouldn't be able to understand Peter.
Yeah.
Or right. Iron Man. He wouldn't be able to see people. Anybody wearing a mask, like he can't read lips for, he wouldn't be able to be like, okay, aye, whatever.
But he has, like, the cochlear.
Yeah, I guess. But he doesn't always wear it.
Well, yeah, but...
Given the comics, anyway.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it could be... Like, if he's going... Like, if they're gonna go do, like, mission shits, he could wear it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Anyways, yeah, so they go get him. They're all back in time. He's the one that decides to be the guinea pig, essentially, and see if it actually works and goes back.
One thing on Tokyo real quick. You sort of see Widow see herself in him, which is kind of sad.
Oh, like how
she
was, used to be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she looks like she's going to cry, and he's like, don't give me hope. Oh, powerful lines, man, all throughout this movie.
Just so many emotions throughout this entire movie.
Because you had...
back and forth.
Right. So yeah, anyway, he decides to be the guinea pig because fucking Scott fucked it up. He's like, we have 2 chances for a test run. But like,
he also has a daughter, so he's like, I don't want to get stuck there. But like, you know,
yeah, like
it's a common theme throughout the entire movie. Hawkeye doesn't have anything to lose anymore at this point, so
solid roadie moment before the test, where he's like, why don't we go back in time, find baby Thanos? And he does the rapping motion,
yeah.
Struggles a little bit. It's like that's not how that works. And they start listing off the movies: Hot Tub Time Machine, RoboCop, Back to the Future. Random one,
honestly. Yeah.
A Wrinkle in Time, Disney self-referenced.
I love it, and then I just really love Scott being like, Back to the Future was bullshit.
Right?
Because that's also what I felt.
But it's good because they completely
made up their own rules for a time travel.
Well, they de-establish everything that you would argue automatically, right?
Yeah, like when you get home, you get on your forums and like, well, this doesn't make sense because time travel works like this.
And everybody has their own movie that they base time travel off of.
Yeah.
But there's really no...
There's no basis because as far as we know,
yeah,
time travel is not real.
As far as we know.
As far as we know.
But
I think it is real.
But future me, if you're listening to this and time travel's real,
that doesn't work like that. People always do this shit, and that's not how it works.
It worked for Marshall on How I Met Your Mother. He got those chicken wings.
Oh my gosh, shut up.
So, hook me up with some Starbucks, man. I'll know. Don't worry. Leave me a message. Just say Mr. J or something.
You don't need to tell him how to leave the message. He'd know if he's you, stupid.
No, yeah, I guess you're right. Well, I'm a forgetful motherfucker, okay?
You're stupid.
Whatever. Maybe time travel will work this way. It's like leaving yourself a videotape.
Anyways.
It works. Hawkeye goes back in time, and it's so sad because
he goes back to his family.
Yeah, he calls out for Layla, and he brings back, I'm assuming, one of his son's baseball gloves.
Yes.
Does that start a different timeline, though? Because he took something that was from it?
No.
And going based off what the ancient one said?
Yeah.
She said, if you take something out, branches. But that's Infinity Stone centric, so I don't know if we're moving a baseball glove. That's
kind of like something minuscule, but then again, butterfly effect, another time.
That doesn't work, Daisy.
I know, but I'm just saying.
they de-established
I just keep thinking about it.
Yeah, it's really hard to let that concept go.
I don't know, I guess it's just a little, it's a small thing. It doesn't really have anything to do because you just assume that they were like, well, we'll just Amazon Prime you a new mitt.
You could, maybe like a Final Destination thing where it's like...
And then
Some
they
things
go
will
and then
make
they
zero.
get in a car crash and they all fucking die, and his daughter is the one that takes up the mantle as Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Guess we'll find out.
I'm blanking on what happens next.
And then they go.
Well, they
Or
don't.
no. Then
they don't go.
they start planning, they start talking about all of the Infinity Stones.
And you get that awesome moment where Natasha's like, guys.
Where it's her, Banner, and Tony all in the room just laying
We
down
skipped
on
something
tables
else
and
entirely now that I'm thinking about it.
What?
We skipped New Asgard.
Oh,
We're such dumbasses. And that was like such a great...
That was so
It was
great.
brilliant. They show up, Valkyrie's like...
And I also like that it was Rocket and Hulk.
Because he's the strongest Avenger.
It's just funny.
Well, okay,
like that pairing to me.
Because Rocket is his sweet rabbit.
Yes.
And Hulk is a friend from work.
Yes. Like, I get why they were put together, but like just seeing them like, interact
giant,
like
you have
that.
a
Yeah,
giant,
it's just like really funny.
thing.
But yes, oh my god,
You
we
don't
did
even
skip
really
over
talk to each other, do you?
that. No, not really.
It's just a funny, like, picture
Yes.
to see them next to each other.
But then we get the...
I'll let you take the lead on New Asgard because you love Thor and the Guardians.
I
and
love all of
everything so
it.
much
I
more.
love it so much. But yeah, then you get into New Asgard, which is really cool, and I love that they still keep their language, like, that's, underneath their sign, like, it really is New Asgard, and I really like that, and they're all...
I don't know what it's called. They're just ruins, right?
Yeah, they're all just, like, fishermen.
Well, what else are you going to do in Norway?
I don't know, but I love it. Like, I love it. Like, I just love all of it.
What
It
is-
looks so cool.
Rocket's like, what a step down from a giant golden city.
Yeah. But I mean, like, whatever. You take what you get. That's where they, hung out when they did come to Midgard and, like, all of the...
Yeah, I think it was, like, confirmed that's where, like, Odin died. They just...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They just expanded on it. But yeah, so they go and then you get...
Lebowski.
You get Thor, who just completely let himself go. And is just a goddamn giant mess. And we saw, like...
Literally a giant mess.
A giant mess. We literally saw 3 different people cosplay as that Thor today.
It was great.
Which was really great, because, like, hell yeah. And they were all, like, super tall guys, too, and, like, they actually were... Like, I love it. Like, there you go.
They had the accents
Easy
going.
cosplay for all you people with the dad bod going on.
And no shame, either, obviously.
Yeah, like, I saw after, like, some people were, like, really fat jokes in 2019. It's like, but the jokes weren't geared towards Thor because he's fat.
Yeah.
It was because everyone knows that that's not Thor.
Yeah.
And this is his depression and stuff,
His PTSD. That's how he's dealing with his PTSD.
Yeah, and his guilt of, like, not being able to take Thanos out when he...
Had the biggest opportunity.
Yeah, and, like, basically just going for the wrong body part.
I argue if he would have chopped off... He didn't even need to take off the head. If he chopped off the arm like he did in the first 15 minutes, things would have been fine.
Yeah, but so he's dealing with all of that, and and it's kind of like, well, I couldn't save the world, I couldn't save my own people, like, who am I? There's no point to me being Thor, you're not a god anymore. So that's the whole fatness came from, and, like, all the fat jokes, because it's like, if you know
not fat jokes, but, like, yeah.
Everyone being like, what the hell happened to you?
Yeah.
Kind of thing, and it's like, it's just a good representation of, like, how fucked his life has been in the past 5 years. So,
not to mention, he's rooming in this small-ass cottage with Korg and Meek.
Meek, who's gross.
Meek is the best. He's the nastiest little thing I've ever seen.
And him eating pizza is just disgusting.
On his little belly, like,
yes!
squirming around all excitedly.
Looks like a roly-poly-oly. But yeah, so they do that, and he's kind of just like, nah. And, Banner and Rocket are trying to convince him.
And then Korg interrupts, and he's like, Thor, he's back. Noob Master 69.
Oh my god, and then he, like, fucking shit talks this. I love it so much. He's like, let me know if he bothers you again.
Yeah, he's saying mean things again.
I love it. And he really was just like, I'll kick your ass, essentially. And ultimately, it was just, we had beer that got him to go. So, whatever. So
they don't say the word Thanos in that house because...
So then finally everybody is all together in Avengers headquarters. And then they start talking about the Infinity Stones. And
they start with...
It was Banner. I think that said that they all have encountered all the stones at some point.
Tony. Or it's Tony and Natasha. Tony and Natasha go through the briefing the most, but it starts with dead Thor. He's in his pajama. He's in his like what?
Oh,
plaid
he's like,
pant-
yeah, I got up in my girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh. Rocket's like,
And
I think he's
like,
dead.
What?
Yeah, it's like, oh, flames of love. You know how they go out so fast, and it's blah blah blah.
And then he's like, I'm gonna sit down.
Yeah, poor.
And he's
poor
just
Thor.
sad again. Just a new reason to be sad.
That was the ether, and that's something Thor specifically has only experienced.
Mm-hmm. And then just everybody,
I think.
kind of going through their
Do they go for the Power Stone or through the Soul Stone with Nebula or well, Nebula does both, right?
Nebula and Rocket. I think it was mainly Rocket because like he met Quill after all that happened. So I think it was mainly him.
Oh yeah, because
talking
he's walking, and then Scott makes a joke about going to space, and he's like, "Oh, look at him! He's like such a cute puppy. You want to go to space, puppy?" And he
on the table.
yeah, he walks away.
Yeah. So he talked about where Quill got the stone and all that, whatever, their stone, and then
I saw people make some arguments about that. Why not just steal it before Quill gets to it? Fun fact, guys, there is a timeline out there. It is super dense, so that entire planet is actually covered in water, or like some acidic like thing. Like there's this giant crazy tide that lasts over the temple of the Power Stone. It's been like 400 years. It's been like that, and somebody hired Quill like the right time to go get it on the right day, and that's like why they have to go there specifically.
whenever he's going.
Yeah,
But
you can't go 400 years before because everything's presumably different.
and that's why it's all in ruins.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
it was
yes.
That was such like a
So-
weird thing to see people complain about.
People just want to complain. Whatever, it's fine. Anyway, so then you get that really cool moment with Banner, Tony, and Natasha in just like laying with all of these papers spread out around them, trying to
shield
figure out
files.
this shit. And she's like, if we get the right year, there's 3 Infinity Stones in New York. And they're just like,
All down the street from each other. And Hulk's like, shut the front door.
and it's just great because it's like, God damn it, you fucking idiots. You're supposed to be the 2 smartest people in the group.
They're good at finding out or figuring out dense things.
they're
not
good
seeing
at
things in front of
equations.
They're not good at seeing things in front of their eyes.
Yeah. It's like smart people just never have common sense kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you can't think of it like simply.
Yeah. I guess
You
you have to
always
overcomplicate.
overcomplicate it. Yeah.
overcomplicate.
So that was really funny, and so everybody gets their missions and they're going and whatever.
Cap's giving that pep talk. It's like, all right,
and Rocket's
you know
like,
your
he's really good at that.
you know your missions, you know your groups. We regroup in like what I don't know, like a couple hours. All right, everybody signs off.
I
on
think
their
everyone
stones.
has like 2 hours, I believe, in like the actual like time travel
yeah.
of it. But they'd be back in minutes.
Rocket's like, he's really good at that. And then what? Hawkeye has the Milano, I think, and he's like, I don't want to scratch on that. And he's like, yeah, yep, whatever. And he's like, he's not really good at that. Like to the, inspiring promises.
Yeah.
And they jump, and then I don't remember
and then
who we
Natasha
follow
says,
first.
See y'all in a minute.
No, yeah. Another sign. There are so many signs for her.
There's so many signs of them when nobody fucking took them.
Who do we see first?
I think it's New York.
You think? Yeah, I think you're right. It starts with that scene, the panning scene when it's circling around them.
Yes,
And
and you're like, and it's just like, just all of this was amazing. Because I knew they were going to do time travel. Like, we all fucking knew.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I didn't think about how they were going to do time travel. Like, I thought they were going to go back in time to defeat Thanos or, like, get the Infinity Stones, but before Thanos kind of thing. Like, an immediately, like, Infinity War type of thing.
Yeah.
Not
Go back to
they
the
all
previous
go
movies.
back to all these movies, which was such a great way to, like,
Show the
to
United
show how fucking amazing this past 11 years have been and how, like,
tied together there.
they all were from the beginning, presumably, but nobody ever knew because no one knew that it was going to be this giant thing until way later on. So, like, I really love that because it's definitely not something I was expecting at all,
Yeah.
but it was just so beautiful. So they end up in New York with that panning, and then it's the part where Banner's like, "That's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry," and he just hulks out and goes.
Yeah,
out.
they're watching him beat down the
and
Chitauri.
then they're like freaking hiding in an alley, being like, and then Hulk's just like, "Oh my god!" Like he's just so
who
embarrassed.
was I?
Yeah, he's just so embarrassed, and they're like, "Well, you got to go do that again." And he like sadly rips his shirt
He's
off.
like, I think it's a little gratuitous, but whatever. He's like,
and he's just like, and it's just so funny, and I love it so much.
And he goes and finds the Ancient One, who is also defending New York.
But in her own way.
Yeah, she's standing atop the Sanctum Sanctorum.
And just protecting that.
And, just shooting any flying Bajatari that get too out of range, I guess.
Yes, and then she has that stuff with Thor.
The what?
She has all that stuff with Thor, like knocking Thor. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Wait, what? Yeah.
And then just knocking him out of
yeah,
his
she pulls
body
a Stephen
and
Strange and kicks him the fuck out into the spiritual plane.
And then I guess we would just go by like characters.
Well, yeah, because it basically becomes little segments, right? It's little story arcs for each of them, and then you get the end conclusion.
It's just easier to talk about it that way. So like
that happens, and
that was a little bit shorter, like in terms of being able to explain. So she is kind of like, nope, can't give you this. Sorry, man, I'm supposed to protect it. And he's like, but I need it. Like, you don't get it. And then she goes through and explains kind of more of like the rules of their time travel.
A little stranger version of the rules. But
yeah,
yes.
But basically just if you take this Infinity Stone and it no longer is here, it's making a new branch of existence. And yours is going to get fixed, but mine's going to be fucked now. Kind of thing. And then Thor's like, why do I keep fucking it up? Hulk is like
Banner.
Yeah,
I think you're better off just saying Banner.
I keep switching. I'm just gonna stick with this shit.
And so Banner is like, but we can put them all back.
I'll bring them back, like I swear. And then she's like, nah, still no. But then he finally says, well,
why the fuck did Strange give it to Thanos then?
Exactly. And then she's like, what? He did? And then you get the like, he's supposed to be the best of us. Which I think,
nice setup for the sequel that
will probably happen. Yeah. And he gets it.
Which is Time Stone. Check.
Yes. Which is honestly like the easiest one that any of them got. Like he had the easiest.
Quill was easy,
job.
Technically. They were waiting to see where he ends up and shit, but like.
Yeah, but then that gets all that.
But that's not like that's Time's fault.
I get what you mean, but like it's
honestly it's Wi-Fi's fault.
Yeah, it is.
Or like networking. It's fucking just network robots. Fault. Yeah. So after that, we get my favorite segment of all the time travel. You get Tony, Cap, and Ant-Man.
All trying to get the Tesseract.
And they get their double arc because, you know, they're
oh my god. That just all of that is so... It's like... It's just all like probably like the funniest part of that movie.
Yeah. Because Tony breaks into
America's ass.
Tony breaks into Avengers Tower. He's like, Cap, I'm not going to lie to you, man. That suit does nothing for your butt. And Scott's like, don't worry about it, Cap. As far as I'm concerned, that's America's ass. And he like salutes too.
I love it so much.
They bully Hulk, kind of.
Yeah, when you get the like, it's cool because you also get to see like
what happened right after Loki was taken.
Yeah, like you get those things that you didn't get to see in those movies. Like it's like bonus features. Kind of thing. So you like, you know, they're all like, whoa, you can't come in the elevator, take the stairs, and like
Hulk's like, I hate the stairs.
Hulk hates stairs, and it's great. And
that's also like the first time you see Hulk talk. Like Hulk didn't talk in the first Avengers.
Yeah, it's always just kind of like words. You're just like one word type of thing. But it was cool because you know that he always had the ability, but it was kind of just like he was always too angry to actually say anything.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
So that was really cool to see, and then you get the great moment of Cap getting in the elevator with who we and he all knows is Hydra agents.
Yeah, and it's literally almost like it's different building, but an exact replica of Winter Soldier.
And it's great because I really thought that he was gonna have to beat all these people's asses,
again.
But like he knew that he couldn't do that because then it's too early,
and also they wouldn't know. But like it's weird because it feels like it still operates. I know it's playing it intelligently by like not fighting, but it still feels like he's adhering to some semblance of time travel rules. Because he can't let Sitlo or Pierce, I can't remember what his name is, or Rumlow know that he knows that they're Hydra.
Yeah. But then he does, giving us all that great moment.
That great comic book moment.
That great comic book moment that everybody flipped out about a couple years ago, where he just leans over and goes, "Hail Hydra," and it's just
one of the greatest memes.
It was great. Like, I think
ever.
everybody in the theater when we watched it was like,
they were cheering. Yeah, everybody screamed.
Cause we're all fucking nerds. Like, we all know. Like, it's like, I'm sure like regular not comic book people are like, oh my god, because he like knows that they're Hydra kind of thing. But it's like, but we know that comes from the comic book.
Comic book nerds and meme lovers alike.
Yes, where it was like Psych Cap's Hydra, and everyone was like, what the fuck, like, you literally just ruined Captain America.
Yeah.
And everyone was pissed off about it, and it was kind of like a callback to the comics and the movies, both in one line, which was great, and I loved it. And then he just walks out of the elevator with the little suitcase, and is like,
So, Mind Stone
he did it.
Secured. And then we go to...
And then he fights himself.
Well, not yet, because then it jumps back to the Space Stone. Because Scott has to induce a cardio attack.
Oh my god, yeah.
A mild cardio attack. And
he was like, this isn't gonna kill you, right?
He's like, no, it'll just induce a...
The whatever medical term that he said. He was like, that still sounds scary.
Yeah, and he's like, pull my lever. And so he does.
And then he does.
And he gets the suitcase, but like...
and it's great because he like... He kicks the suitcase over to present Tony, I guess. Like, future Tony, whatever. The one we're with, we understand, Tony. And you see Loki being like, what the hell? And so, like, that was really cool, too.
He's like, what magic is this?
Yeah, he was like, I didn't do that, kind of thing. He's like, so it must be something else. And then
you get Thor being like,
Thor, I don't know if this is going to work.
Yeah, and he just, like, taps Mjolnir on his chest.
He's like, yes. Once it's done.
Tony's like, oh my god. And he's like, I didn't know if it was going to work. I'm so glad it did.
And that was great. And then...
Well, then, of course,
Hulk
because they
gets
bullied
down
Hulk.
the stairs, and he's like, ah!
He's like, I hate the stairs. And
Tony loses the Tesseract.
Yeah.
And then Loki gets it and disappears to who knows where, but we assume that that's where his TV show comes from.
Yeah. Him just falling through random places, probably.
Yeah, just doing, Loki things.
Yeah, probably has some.
Then we get the cat fight.
Then, yeah, because they think Loki is free and traveling through the tower. Which is a weird thought because, like, as heroes, you would assume he went back to space. I feel like you would assume he went back to space.
No, I think it makes sense that they thought he would
stay in the tower?
Just disguise himself immediately and try to get...
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
But yeah, it's so great. And then you get Cap being like, I found him. He's me.
I thought Cap was going to kill...
Cap.
And I was like, this building structurally is a death trap waiting to fucking happen.
First off, why would you make a building where if you fell, like, you really are going to fall to your death?
It's like The Force Awakens, where it's like...
Yeah,
Han
where it's just like, all that, like, whole, like, why would you...
Why aren't there rails?
Like, who was the architect here? I want to argue.
Yeah.
You get the great fight scene with his fight scene, and he's like, I could do
in
this all day.
And
he's like, yeah, I know.
He's like, I don't want to hear your fucking superimposed justice and fighting for good.
He's like, God damn it. He's like, why do I keep saying this line?
Yeah.
And then they just fall multiple times, and he gets...
He's about to lose. He's about to get, like, choked out.
Past Cap has future Cap in a chokehold, and then...
He's like, Bucky's alive.
And then he's like, what? And then he, like, is able to, like, with the...
Punches him,
Cypher? Touches
him with the scepter.
Yes.
And it's like... he stops, he looks down, he's like, that is America's ass.
Same.
His ass look good in that. Tony's lying.
No, I mean, I get what he meant. It was a little, like, it's not as, like...
Not compared to, like, the other... I mean, yeah, but,
It's just not as sculpting to the booty as you would expect that suit to be specifically, because it's, like, the least, like, padded, I guess?
Yes, I think I know what you're saying. It's still based off his old 60s, or his old World War II suit.
It's not as bulky as the other ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was great, and then,
they regroup, and...
in the alley, and then...
They're sitting in a destroyed car. And they're screaming at each other, Scott and Tony. It's like, you're repeating yourself, you're repeating yourself, you're repeating yourself.
I love Scott so much.
Yeah, he gets so many good lines in this. And so they're trying to figure out when and where not both.
Right, because there's only enough
for a
for
trip
both
back.
of them to go back another time or go back to the future.
Ha. Go back to the future.
Stop! I'm gonna fight you. Anyways, and so they were like, well, they realized that Howard Stark and Hank Pym at some point worked together at S.H.I.E.L.D., so they were like, so they needed to find when that was.
I think it was, or 70?
Yes.
70s, I know.
It was the 70s, because
Yeah,
they talked about hippie hair and stuff.
Yeah. He had a hippie goatee.
Yes.
And
so that happens.
And so...
And they send...
Scott back. But they go back...
And then Hulk already went back on his own.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? There's, like, no notification on that end.
Yeah, I guess they were just like, Hulk, once you get it... Like, I guess it's like, once you get...
Just travel back.
You need to get back immediately, kind of thing.
So, they go to the war... Or they go to the army base. And, Tony's like, you weren't born here, right? And he's like, this is like... I was thought of here. I wasn't born here, damn it. You know? You're getting digs in.
He was born again like the Christians.
Oh my god. So they go into S.H.I.E.L.D., or I think it's S.H.I.E.L.D. at that point.
It is S.H.I.E.L.D., I believe.
And...
Yeah, because he said, like, where would a... Because Tony asked Cap, like, where would the S.H.I.E.L.D...
Where would the base be? If you were hiding an underground bunker, where would you hide it? And
then he's like, in plain sight.
Yeah, because it's the same place in Jersey.
It is.
That Winter Soldier, yeah. Yeah, your last Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah.
And it's like peace over war or love over war or something like that. Flipping on, like a giant fuck you to the...
And it's like, hell yeah, flip off the government, fuck them.
So, they go under, and that's when it starts to get like real meta.
Yes.
Because Tony meets Howard, and Howard is pregnant with...
Well, he's not pregnant.
Well, the Starks are pregnant with Tony.
Yes.
And it's like, ooh. And you know what's funny? It's like Howard's not suspicious of Tony at all. Like...
Yeah.
And and he was looking for Zoloff. From Winter Soldier. The guy in the computers. Which, Hydra.
Yeah.
Cap could have stopped that there too. But time
it's
travel.
kind of just like, you can.
Yeah, so that sucks. But it gets real meta, and like Howard's not suspicious of Howard. At least in that time, Howard Potts. And he's kind of having like a weird moment, just like trying to talk to him, keep up with him, because it's like, this is my dad. Crazy.
Yeah, but it's like, you can't be like,
this is my dad.
Yeah.
and Cap gets Peggy, which is sad.
Which is so sad because
he
just looks so sad.
He gets the Pym particles first.
Yes.
And then hides. And you get the OG Ant-Man helmet.
Yes, that looks like just
it looks so ugly.
Wrong.
Yeah. Just that weird chrome ball. Is one of them snoring?
Yes.
That's fine. You get that weird chrome dome, and he's working on the Pym particles, and you see the ants in their little respective...
Yeah, and like...
Yeah, cages or whatever.
Fixing them and kept being like, yeah, it's leaking. No one wants to touch it, and he just runs out.
And some of them are feeling sick.
Yeah.
So, he steals the Pym particles, and he steals like 4. Which I don't know if you realize that or if you remember that. He steals 4, I think.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, probably. So, he goes and hides in, of course, Peggy's
Not
office.
on purpose, it was just by chance.
But like...
It's where he needed to...
They're soulmates, so of course he would.
They find each other wherever. It doesn't matter.
And he sees her.
And then he sees his picture, his pre-serum picture on her desk, and then sees her. Which is just so sad, because it's just like, God damn it, like all you wanted was a dance. You never got it.
He's on Movie Fights today, I was listening, and they were doing Endgame Movie Fights, and he's presumably 105 or 103. 105-year-old virgin.
Oh.
What do you mean, he wanted to dance, he didn't want to get laid.
But like...
Okay, yeah, whatever. Don't sully the good name of Captain America.
Whatever.
With your deviancy.
He could get it.
Obviously.
From anybody.
So Then Tony kind of interrupts that moment. He's like, all right, we're good. After he has his last... Or no, I think they just go back upstairs.
No, Cap goes back on his own, and then Tony continues
with
Howard and kind of just, speaking about, like, children, because now he has his own, so...
He's like, I have a daughter.
Yeah.
And Howard's like, I hope I have a daughter, because that way it'd be easy to have her stay away from my tendencies of being a workaholic and, never
just
being able to let go of something.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, man, this is all just so sad. And, like, he kind of, like, they do get up and he's leaving or whatever, and he's just, kind of finally gets that, like, closure moment of, like, I'm gonna love him and all that stuff. Like,
yeah, where he's like, kid's not even born yet, but I'd already do anything for it.
Yeah. And it's kind of just like, oh.
Yeah, it's real sad. Or real touching, anyway.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, man. It's like, if you had time, like, if Tony had the time to be emotional, like, boy, would he be emotional.
Yeah, he does. He hugs him. He's like, thank you for your service. For this country. Yeah. And just runs off.
And then you get OG, like, actual Jarvis.
Yeah, and he's like, Jarvis, that guy looked familiar. He's like, you meet a lot of people, so. And it's like, wow, that's crazy.
And it's like, wow. Like, this is great!
Yep. Basically all of Tony's getting explained in that moment, which is amazing. Because you don't really see him interact with his father aside from Civil War, and you really just see him, like, getting onto him.
In his memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Spew. Or Puke? It's Spew. One of the two.
Something gross.
Yeah, it's some nasty sound.
Yes.
Barf, I think is what it was. I don't know. Fuck it. That'd be bad as Schmo after this.
Just something bad.
Yeah.
Something gross.
So that ends their little time travel. So we'll do you want to do Nebula or do you want to do Black Widow?
Let's do Black Widow.
Because it's shorter?
It's shorter, and, like, the Nebula and Rhodey stuff just leads to so much more.
Okay.
So now we're on to Clint and Natasha, who are getting the
We're doing
Soul
good
Stone.
at trading these off, by the way.
I know! So we get them, and, like, as we've already seen with Infinity War, we know what's gonna happen, but obviously they don't know what's gonna happen, and we see Red Skull again, obviously, and he knows them, and he's creepy about things. And you get what, like, him telling them, like, you gotta give up what you love most, in order to get the stone thing, and they're both just like,
and they stare at each other, and then it just jumps to them sitting down.
Being like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
A kind of thing, because they're like, well, this will be easy, like,
right.
Look,
just go ahead and grab it.
But it's like, it comes at such a price, and then they're both just like, well, we know who it has to be, and then they're like, oh, no, I don't think you know who it has to be. And
and then you get Clint's like, I don't think we're talking about the same person.
Yeah.
Which is super sad because you already know he doesn't want to lose anyone else.
Yeah, and it's just so sad because I feel, like, at least for me, like, as soon as they got there, I was like, I automatically knew who it was gonna be. I automatically knew it was gonna be Natasha. Like, I don't know why I'm beating around the bush. We know. This is spoilers, man. I can talk about it. I automatically knew it was going to be her because logically, why wouldn't it be?
Well, Clint needs to see his kids.
Exactly. Like, Clint has the potential for his family to return. Like, that's why they're doing this whole thing. So if someone's going to die and not be able to come back, it needs to be Natasha.
And even if Natasha...
She knows that. He knows that. But he's like, I've already lost everything. But
also, even if Natasha lost people, Natasha's family is still predominantly there. Because the 6 Avengers are still there. You know what I mean? Like, she may have lost allies and friends along the way with this happening.
But her family is still there. Yeah.
It's just that they're all broken. And that's, I think, maybe, like, the real source for pain throughout the movie. Is seeing them all hurt as bad as they are. Yeah.
So, going in, I think it's pretty obvious knowing who it's going to be. And it's just more of a, like, how are we going to get there?
Ooh, but when fucking Clint jumped over the cliff...
I really was like, no!
I was like, oh, shit. But she got him.
She got him.
Grappled that motherfucker at the last second.
And then, like, pushed herself off and was like, boo. And it was really hard for me to see, like, her body there. And it's like in Infinity War when it was Gamora instead, like, because you also saw her body, it was like, it was a shock and it was also really sad and it made me tear up the first time we watched it. But, like, I feel like seeing Natasha was a completely different experience.
Also, they showed blood. They didn't show blood with Gamora.
Yeah.
Which is
I think it was just dark.
Yeah. Or maybe it was like the hair.
Yeah.
Because, like, she has a lot more hair.
And
but you saw...
And it's dark green, so... Yeah.
It's hard to tell what's going on.
But yeah, so, like, seeing it be Natasha was so much more impactful. Just...
And also, you know the impact it's going to have on...
everybody.
Yeah.
And it's not like Gamora didn't, but she never met everyone else. Mm-hmm. It's just the Guardians that would have an impact on her. And not that, like, obviously with Natasha gone, it's mainly the original Avengers that are going to mourn her death, but it's like, but everybody knows her and what she does, especially with, like, the 5 years she's been working with all these other people, too. So it's...
to try and keep the world stable.
Yeah, so it's just a loss overall. So it was just really hard to see that versus in Infinity War. So that was a bad time. But then...
it didn't hit me as hard.
It got me, man.
Not because I have anything against Natasha or, like, anything like that, you know. But I don't think... like... I think the impact from Gamora was a little, like, harder for me. Because, like, it's like... plot twist, Thanos does love you. And now he's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
It's just like holy shit.
It was kind of him being like, well...
it's like, could you sacrifice your daughter? And as somebody that wants, like, a daughter or, like, kids, I'm just like, whew, nope, couldn't do it. I'm out. Yeah. See you later, Skull. Yeah, so fuck that. But so for that reason, it wasn't nearly as bad. Because to me, that's like a best friend thing. It's like, you know, when best friends are trying to sacrifice themselves over the other.
Yeah, so you don't have to see the other one hurt.
Superhero movies do that enough that I'm like, I'm not desensitized to it. It doesn't make me feel any less bad, but I am like a little more steel. Like, I have a little tougher skin when it comes to that now.
Yeah.
Because it's not like such an overused trope, but it's a trope I've become accustomed to.
Mm-hmm, of course. But it was quintense. Yes, and it was the first death.
It is the first death.
I mean, minus Thanos, but, like, who cares about him, you know? He's nobody at this point.
So then we have Vormir. Or, no, sorry, that was Vormir. Now we have Morag, the Power Stone. Mm-hmm. And they're watching Quill.
Nebula and Rhodey.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Because that is just so hilarious because the beginning
Where was Rocket in this?
Rocket is with Thor.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, we haven't done the Power Stone. Oh, we haven't done the Reality Stone. I guess I'll do the Reality Stone.
There's just so many things.
Yeah, I completely forgot. We keep, like, overlooking Thor. I feel bad for him. We keep, like, forgetting him.
It's because he's not Thor. He's not his full Thorness.
Yeah, well, he's still pretty fucking hilarious. So Thor, I'll do the Reality Stone then.
So great. Yeah, because that was also kind of quick.
What happens? They pop up the day that his mother dies, and Rocket doesn't know that.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, Thor peeks around and he sees Rocket's going over the plan. Thor's having a breakdown. He's like, I'm going to go get some wine. And they both
see Jane.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, we got to get her while she's napping.
Yeah.
And alone.
And he's like, I need some wine real quick. And so he goes away.
Or trying to.
And Rocket, like, pulls him close, slaps the shit out of him. And he's
love that.
It's like, I lost the only family I ever cared about. You still have yours. And a lot of people are hurting. You have the power to change that. So come on. And Thor's like, okay, I can do this. And he's like, I can't do this. Like, he's about to cry. And so he's about to make a run for it to the cellars again. But then what happens? He sees Frigga. And he's like, ooh, Mom. And then he's like, this is the day my mom dies. And Rocket's like, shit, didn't know that. So he's like, all right, don't worry about it. We got this. And then turns around, Thor's gone.
Yep.
He's like, God damn it. So
he's kind of just like, I'm going to do this myself.
Yeah, you see him creep into the room with the little, I guess, plunger. Extractor. It's sort of like, it made me think of Hercules, you know, with Fear and Panic when they're giving Hercules the bottle. Mm-hmm. Baby Hercules. Yeah. And so he's sneaking around, and it doesn't go to him going to the cellar. I think he's following his mom a little bit. And she, you know, tells her handmaidens to go away. And he's, like, looking for her, and she pops up, and she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, fuck. You know, he freaks out.
Yeah, she's like, you've never been good at sneaking.
Yeah.
She's like, leave that up to Loki.
You leave that to your brother. And so she takes him to his chambers, I assume. Her chambers, I assume. Mm-hmm. And she's talking to him, and she's like, "This isn't."
And she knows.
Yeah, she's like, "This isn't. You're not my Thor." He's like, "No, I'm totally. I put on some pounds. Been eating a lot lately. Blah blah." She's like, "I was raised by witches. Don't talk down to me."
Yeah.
and he's like, "You're right. I'm not me. I'm from the future." He breaks like every time, and so
he's just so broken, man.
yeah, I feel bad for him. And she's like, "Oh, the future hasn't been kind to you, has it?" And he's like, "Mm-mm," like, like a sad boy talking to his mom.
Yeah.
Just airing out his troubles. And Rocket extracts the fucking the ether, and he's running down the halls, and the guards are like, "Get that rabbit," which is a brilliant callback to Infinity War. And so he finds Thor, and Thor holds his hand out, and and she's like, "Are we going? Are we not going?" And she's like, "It takes a minute sometimes." Mjolnir comes in his hand. He's like, "Yes, still worthy." And they jump back.
Yeah, and that was a real good confidence booster. In addition to the talk with his mom, obviously, was that he was still worthy after all of this time.
And that failure is just a part of being a hero, no matter what way you slice it. And everybody says it, but there's something comforting.
But it's hard to accept it.
Yeah, but when your mom tells you, or your father
then you're
tells
just
you,
like, all right, mom is always like.
You could make the argument that you could theorize that Thor was going to die, given that he gets closure with his mother. Anybody that got any kind of closure in this movie, you could be like, well, maybe they bite the dust.
No, I feel like we're talking about Game of Thrones.
Right?
Again.
Well, that's why, between this and The Long Night, you was just, so much death that was potentially going to happen.
That you're just like, I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
Give me all the death. Yes. So that...
Natasha's closure was,
they're good.
That they're going to rekindle... That they're getting the family back together, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. When she was like, all right, we're back as a team. I think that's why she was so cool, just... Going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then...
So now we're on Morag. The Temple of the Power Stone.
We're back. What was I saying?
So Nebula and Rhodey.
And they have that really funny moment with Quill because the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy is super funny with him singing along and dancing. And then it's like, you get the reality of it's all just in his head. None of this is out loud. He looks like a crazy man, singing and dancing to himself.
Sliding all over the place.
Yeah, which is not anything you ever think about when you're watching it because you're just like, hell yeah, this is a good ass time. But then you get the reality of it and it's a really funny moment and then they knock him out and go get the stone. Which they do really successfully pretty fast, and you get Nebula basically just burning off her arm, but it's
the fake flesh.
Yeah, and it's kind of just it's whatever. But then, you get the...
She gets some good bonding with Rhodey, where she's like, I wasn't always like this way. And he's like, yeah, I wasn't either. He's like, but we get what we get, and we do what we gotta do to...
Yeah, and they're both basically robots.
Rhodey's not a robot, but yeah.
He has robot legs.
Sure, he's like Lieutenant Dan, if that's how you want to put it.
Yes.
Space legs.
But yeah, and then you get the network issues.
Network error.
Yeah,
and she just crumples
Nebula.
down.
In Nebula of that time of 2014, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Gets knocked on her ass.
Who is still totally trying to get Thanos' approval.
And probably kill her sister.
Yes, is like, look at this.
Uh-huh.
What is this? And then they realize, that that's not her memories. It's from 9 years in the future.
Black Maw, I believe is his name.
Mm-hmm.
Is I'm getting readings, but they're not her readings. They come from 9 years from now. So yeah, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming from 9 years from now, and he
sees
his death.
Thanos.
Right?
Well, first he's claiming all of it, anything that has to do with the Infinity Stones, and he sees that he is triumphant in his goal of.
He's seeing the meeting, right? Where they're hashing
he sees the meeting, or he sees her talking to Rhodey, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
First, and then he's like, "Shit, what does this mean?"
Look
and
deeper.
And then he realizes that he was successful. He's like, "My plan, it happened," and you kind of see Gamora be like, "Shit, he did it."
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it.
It worked.
Yeah, and it's not. That's what you get, and then it kind of. I think that's when it flashes back to Nebula and Rhodey actually getting the stone, because then it goes back and forth a lot between them and what's happening, and then you see that he saw his death,
mm-hmm.
and he's like, well, it is what it is, I did what I needed to do, and he's just kind of whatever about it, but he's still like, I gotta be successful because they're trying to undo what he already did.
And he figures like all the stones are going to be in one place with the Avengers in 2023. Let's just go there. So they go to Morag because Rhodey was able to jump back.
Yeah.
But Nebula,
because it was they were coming, and like that's when she got like a headache, I guess.
She flatlined. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, that's when she like freaked out, and he got out, and she got stuck there, and they took her to his ship, and we're like, whoa.
Imprisoned her, changed clothes, took the plate off her
head.
Yeah,
the copper one, and switched it, and they sent back 2014 Nebula
to
instead.
2023.
Uh-huh.
So they all show up, and nobody knows Nebula enough to be like,
she's off.
Yeah.
The only one that would know is Rocket, but they're so like, we got all the stones back, so like, let's figure this out
and
immediately.
Also sort of mourning Natasha.
Yeah, that like Rocket's not like, nobody's really like, let me pay close attention, you know? Like no one planned on something like that happening. So
because I think despite Natasha's death, like they're all still like, all right, we got like one,
like,
we can't
got
let
a
her,
mission.
We can't let her die in vain, and two, we finally have it. We have the opportunity to bring back everybody's family, not just...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, and Rocket goes off with Tony and Banner to make sure that everything works out. And
you get such a great Rocket moment
where he's like, ah!
Yeah, he screams, blam! And
they're both like, holy shit. It's great. And then they decide that Banner's going to be the one to...
And poor Thor, he wanted to do it just to finally do something.
To be able to
feel something,
right his wrongs. But it's like...
The Hulk's like, it's almost like it was made for me because it's a bunch
of
of gamma radiation.
Yeah, like he knows he's the only one that would be able to withstand it without much harm coming to him.
And he almost doesn't because it starts just burning the shit out of his arm.
Yeah, but he does it, he snaps.
And Tony, the selfish motherfucker, isn't like, we're not changing anything, we're not changing the present, we're not going back in time.
He's like, we're just bringing them back.
Bringing everybody back and keeping the same shit that's happened.
To this time.
Yeah, to
5 years later.
Making sure no crazy shit happens because he doesn't want to lose Morgan.
Yeah, which is understandable because that's your fucking daughter. Like, you don't want to lose your kid, especially after having 5 years with them.
I'll just make another one.
Oh my god, stop.
I'm sure it'd just be Boy Morgan. Maybe that's all that changes, Time's
Boy
weird.
Morgan.
Yeah, Boy Morgan.
But yeah, so snaps, and then you see that Hawkeye gets the call from his wife.
Well, before that, as Hulk is struggling with the snap,
you see Nebula.
Nebula brings back the entire ship.
Just all of them.
Yeah. It breaks through the compound.
And it's just like nobody's there, and it's like nobody thought like, oh, maybe we should destroy this or like something, because why would you need to?
I also don't think they maybe considered that Nebula could use it, because like she uses her fingers to hack it. She doesn't actually type.
Yeah, she kind of just like R2-D2.
Yeah, basically R2-D2's where he's talking to the thing in Cloud City, and so he snaps. Then he gets a call from Laura. And
then Ant-Man goes out and he sees the birds. Because I guess the animals got wiped out too.
Well, yeah, half of everything.
Yeah, I didn't think that it would include animals,
You would assume trees die.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, they're living, right?
Anyways,
but I don't think
yeah,
so
like, Scott goes out and he notices a change in the environment as well. And then you see the call from Clint's wife and you're like, yep, they did it. Yeah, but then it immediately gets fucked.
The missile, basically, what I thought this movie was going to be with a bunch of death, because I thought, at that moment, I was like, they just killed Scott. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
I was like, Scott's dead. He's
because they're all right there. So it's like everybody.
And the missile just hits perfectly, too.
Mm-hmm. And they do multiple missiles.
Multiple bombardments.
It's not just one and done. It's like multiple. Like, they were trying to clear out that entire area, just no survivors. Mm-hmm. And then it really gets good.
No, it doesn't, because Hulk's the first one to wake up and he's holding the thing. Mm-hmm. But Rocket's like screaming, I can't breathe, and I'm like, they're gonna fucking kill Rocket. And I was like so ready to cry at that moment because I was like, holy fucking shit, no. Like,
yeah.
One of my top 5 favorite characters, I guess, probably, maybe top 3 actually. Top 3 favorite characters about to just fucking drown to death or be crushed to death. Like, oh my god, I would not be able to deal with that.
But then
But Rhodey
Yeah, I was like,
wakes
who the
up
hell?
and like
And gets it off of him.
gets the cement off him.
But then the water starts coming in because of the pipes from the building, and that starts to happen. And then you see.
You think Hulk can drown? Hulk can't die.
Oh yeah, I guess not.
But
But like, everybody else can. So.
But that'd be like eternal suffering.
Yeah, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see Clint got blown away into a different area on his own, but he
basically fell into an underground base or like underground tunnels.
Like a tunnel. Like I guess they have like a.
They're the Avengers. Why wouldn't they have a fucking?
So he gets blown into that, and then you see that he got blown away with their new gauntlet, and so he's like gotta protect that, and then those weird fucking.
The Outriders, I believe,
thing.
is what they're called.
They fucking come for him, and he's like, shit, so he's running from that.
And it's almost like Aliens.
Yeah.
Where it's like, he hears it, and he's like, what the fuck is that? And he shoots the flare arrow, and you just see all of them.
And then he's like, shit.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
But you still see, like, how big of a badass he is.
He's like, Jimmy Neutron, gotta blast.
Oh my god. Because he's, like, planting arrows, explosive arrows all along the way, and, like, cutting them as he's going. Mm-hmm. And then it jumps to Cap and Iron Man.
I think so.
Because Tony wakes up Steve, and they go out. They're like, what the fuck happened? They go out, they find Thor standing atop some of the wreckage, I guess. Somewhere on the second or third story. And they see Thanos, and he's like...
He's just sitting there.
What's he been doing? He's like, nothing, just waiting. It's like, well, it's a trap, right?
Because, like, once that happened, I think it was... Nebula came and was like, yep, they got the gauntlet or whatever, something like that. And then he was like, oh, wait, and then sends her off to go get it for him. And so he just is sitting waiting for them because he knows. And they're like, what the hell is he doing? And they're like, well, he's waiting for us.
Well, do you want to finish that little part in the sewers then? Or like the underground? Because Nebula shows up, and while Nebula's, there... Or as Nebula's searching, Gamora frees 2023 Nebula because she tells her the truth, and she's like,
"Yeah, she's like, what happens to us?
Yeah, I try to kill you a couple more times. I crush you with a ship, basically.
Yeah.
But we eventually become sisters, and that's all that Gamora needs to hear.
To know, like, because like Nebula would never.
The 2014 Nebula would never be like
we're sisters.
Yeah.
So she was like, well, shit, I guess something could happen.
Yeah.
So they get out or whatever, and then you get Hawkeye who escapes the
Outriders.
But then he's confronted.
He's taking a break, basically. He's like, oh god.
He gets his breathing time, but then he's confronted with 2014 Nebula.
And he's like, I know you. As she takes the gauntlet, or no, she puts the gun up, right? She basically points a gun at him, and then Gamora and Nebula show up. And it's like The Office. It's just yeah. What is it?
Finger guns.
Mexican standoff?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think Nebula's gonna kill Gamora at that point because she's trying to get close to her. And Nebula shoots herself, but Nebula doesn't die. 2023 Nebula doesn't die, which again fucks up the timeline. Because what the fuck, you know what I mean? Like
that contributes to the whole like branches.
Yeah, so it's just a little weird.
It's just all kinds of things. But yeah, so she essentially shoots herself, which is such a wild thing. But it's great because now they're all on the same side.
It's also super symbolic because
she's killing off that part of herself.
Yeah, she's killing off like all the hate and all the rage and all the resentment she holds towards her sister.
And then all the like letting go of all the shit that Thanos put her through, because like now she has a new family that actually like cares about her, and potentially she now has Gamora back.
Yeah, presumably. So now we can go up.
So now we can go to
Thanos,
the three,
and the big three. So Thanos has basically a helicopter propeller. And he's wearing his armor. And, it's like, what's up, my dude? Let's fucking do this.
Yeah, and then Thor does his great
he calls Mjolnir.
Stuff.
He's dual wielding. He's got a hammer and he's got a fucking axe.
He's got a cool ass beard braid.
No, he does not. None of that was cool. Thor
I liked it.
I thought they were going to we both thought he was gonna slim, right?
He's gonna get thin, but it's like, psych, you're still fat.
They never let it go. They never let the thickness go.
Yeah, like at one point when he's like, I think they're like running or something. You see like the like side profile of him, and you like,
you still see the
for
belly
a second I
bit.
was like, oh yeah, like his armor's on, like he's skinny again, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then they do that side profile, and I'm like, oh
no, gut's still there.
yeah, so cool beans. That's just something we thought was gonna happen. But then they go and confront Thanos, and
it is such
it's on
a badass fight. Mm-hmm. The three, not founding necessarily, because their first meeting was basically a fight.
Yeah.
But you get the three that
it was
started
kind of
it off.
like, who the fuck are you?
And now here they are,
fighting together,
ready to take on the Mad Titan. Yeah, here Cleo too.
Yes.
How does it go though? It's so fast.
It's just all so convoluted, but you get that fight.
Tony goes down first, but why does he go down? I think it's because
someone gets hit.
Mjolnir hits him. Like Thanos swats away, and it crashes into him, and he crashes into a giant stone, and he's knocked out. Mm-hmm. Then Cap get
his shield broken.
Not yet, because what happens is he swats Cap basically away, because Cap's Cap, but like Thanos is still a Thor level boss essentially.
Yeah,
you need to be some form of like demigod or godlike to take him on. And what happens is he loses Mjolnir, but he's fighting with Stormbreaker, and then finally, like, Thanos, he uses his headbutt so fucking much, it bugs the shit out of me. Like, his headbutt is, like, the cheat any boss uses in, like, any video game ever, where they have that one move you just can't fucking escape. Mm-hmm. So even though you're beating him down, the second he fucking... that's what he does. He headbutts Cap, throws him away. He headbutts Thor, smashes him down, and just like starts punching into his face like so hardcore. It's real, like just super brutal. And at one point, Thor, like, his axe comes back, and but Thanos catches it, and he starts pressing it into...
Yeah, and it's basically like what
he was doing to Thanos in Infinity War.
Yeah, and like he doesn't know that that's what happened.
Yeah, right. So it's not like a vengeance thing. It's just
it's just like clearly this is what is the best way to get this blade in your chest, kind of thing.
So it's nice. It's a nice little poetry, like a little roundabout thing. Mm-hmm. And then you see Mjolnir lift, right?
And you're like, ah.
And it's like, well, obviously it's gonna go to Thor. He's calling it to beat
like,
yeah.
And
fucking
then
plot twist.
You see Cap.
It goes right into Cap's fucking hand.
And then you get Thor being like, I knew it!
Oh my god. And our entire theater screamed.
We were just like...
We screamed.
Like,
we were
I
clapping.
literally was like... It was like one of those things, like, you know when you're crying really hard that, like, no sound comes out and then all the sobbing comes? It was like that, but with cheering for me. Because I was like... and then I was like, yeah! With, like, everybody else. Like, it was such... fucking cool ass moment. And I was just like, I can't believe this is just happening.
And he takes on Thanos, and he starts like beating him down hard.
Yes, and then they all are able to like get up and also beat ass.
Yes and no, because what happens? He beats down Tony again. He beats down Thor again, and then I don't remember what happens to Mjolnir. I don't know if it gets swat away or it just, like, he blocks it or deflects it or something. But he starts... No, I don't think it's even that. I think Cap has Mjolnir, but he starts really coming at him, and that's when the shield starts to crack and break, because he starts destroying it.
Yeah.
And, like, the first time you see it, oh my god. When it first goes into the shield, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, because
it's like Tony's vision.
This entire time, the shield has always been invincible to anything. The only thing that ever came close to fucking it up was T'Challa with his claws. Yeah. Because it's the same fucking material. Mm-hmm. You know? So, like, to see it be broken is just like, holy shit. And
it sends like a chill through you.
Yeah, because you're like, oh my god, like, is this it? Like, is this when Cap dies? Because, like, this is new territory.
Like, you don't tear America's ass's shield, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly. That's America's ass's shield.
You can't do that. That's not how that works.
That's sacrilegious.
Exactly. So, and then he gets beat down that way. Mm-hmm. And then you have Thanos give that monologue where it's like, all my life of violence and conquering, it's never been personal. It's like, but this, I'm gonna take pleasure in it. I'm going to enjoy destroying everything here and then recreating it. In my vision. And, you know, Cap's like, it'll be born out of blood. And he's like, what will matter? They won't know.
Yeah.
And so you have Cap stand up with Mjolnir. Thor and Tony, I think, are still incapacitated a little bit. Or they're regrouping anyway. And you see the scene from the trailers and the commercials where Cap's struggling with, like, holding up the shield. And he tightens it. And you get that.
And then you get
the Cap, can you read me? On your left.
And then it's like, what? And then you get the on your left, and you're like, what?
The circle
and then the
opens.
portal opens, and like you first like see Falcon and Bucky, and you're just like, what?
And then everybody shows up.
Just starts coming, and it's just, oh my god.
You get Wakanda. Well, actually,
You get space.
Going back a little bit, because when Thanos felt threatened, he brought down his fucking army. That piece of shit. He was, and that was such a beautiful shot where you see Cap standing up and like it's his silhouette, but you see everybody,
and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna do it. Like, what else can he do? You know, he's fucking Captain America.
He won't back down.
Yeah, exactly.
He can do this all day.
Exactly, without saying it this time. And then you get the reveal of everybody.
You get the I can do this all day when he tightens the shield.
Yeah,
that's basically him symbolic saying, "Go fuck yourself.
Go
fuck yourself, Thanos."
He kind of just says it all the time in his actions.
But yeah, you get the Masters of the Mystic Arts opening portals from everywhere.
And get all of these armies, get all of the backup, and it's just, whew.
You get, and it's not even just that it's like the Avengers as we know them, right? It's, you have like Wakandans here. You have the sorcerers here. So it's like everybody presumably can take on somebody. Because it's like, what the fuck? And not even just that. I think right before that, Ant-Man goes giant size.
Yeah.
And he frees Hulk.
And he gets
because he places them down like when everybody's showing up. So you have both armies just
you
like
just get all this stuff, and it's like the
other.
first time that you actually see Thanos kind of being like, "Oh shit!" Like this is
a formidable.
Like this is a fight. Like this is like I'm not going to be able to just
take him out. And you. It's so great.
And it's great. And you get the Asgardians and the Valkyrie, like, coming on their, like, flying horses. And it's just, hell
We get some gasp when you see Valkyrie fly through and when you see the Wakandans show up and Bucky and Falcon. But I feel like our theater really lost their shit when my boy, Spider-Man, flips
and
walks
Guardians.
out. Yeah. And that's when everybody starts cheering.
And then the reunion with
Tony,
and he's being like, Mr. Stark, like, I think I just woke up and they said that it was 5 years later, and like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yes.
Oh.
And he just like
he
embraces him so hard, and
he's like, oh, this is nice.
And it's great, and you kind of just get all of your
feels,
all your reunions kind of just in one big go. It's fucking great, and then just mass fucking fighting starts.
And then, well, before the reunion, you get the line we have been waiting for.
Yes, for years.
For fucking years. Since 2012.
They always cut it off.
7 fucking years we've been waiting for this. You get Avengers Assemble.
You get Cap saying, Avengers Assemble.
And they fucking rush. And it's just the greatest thing ever because you see everybody.
And it's just like, oh, it's so beautiful. And it's just great. And then there's just so many...
It's like, how do you talk about the fight, though? Because there's so many...
There's so many things, but just talk about the highlights. It's the easiest thing.
Okay, talk about your highlights. It doesn't matter in the order. It's fine.
My highlights. Definitely one of the biggest ones was 100% Scarlet Witch coming for Thanos. And being like, you took everything from me. He's like, I don't even know who you are. She's like, you will. And then she just, like, she fucking gets him. Like she's
like crushing him, right?
She's just so angry. She's crushing him. She's taking off his armor as she's doing it.
She's white gianting him like Lyanna.
Yes, like she's literally if one-on-one, like she really fucking went for it, and then I think she gets knocked out by like one of.
Well, because he says
dudes.
Rain fire.
Yeah, and that
So that goes to one of my moments because it was super touching for me when it's raining down, right? And you have Rocket jump over Groot because I'm like, oh, that hurts because it's like he doesn't want to lose him a third fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, poor Rocket, man. He's had his best friend die basically repeatedly in front of him. And it's just like, oh, that hurts my heart.
It's like, God damn it, how many times?
Yeah. But that also leads to I assume one of your moments where Peter has the gauntlet, and he's trying to take cover as the bombs are falling, and who shows up?
But Captain Marvel, because then they start moving.
Yeah.
To her, like as
the
she's
start
flying
firing
in.
at her.
Yeah, and then she just fucking same thing that she does in her movie. She just fucking goes through that ship and takes it all down, and it's great.
What is it? Tony something just entered the atmosphere, but I have no idea what the fuck it is.
Yeah, I don't know. But she takes out the ship, and it's fucking great, and it's like, hell yeah, and then...
She lands in front of him, she's like, what do you got for me, Peter Parker? Or he introduces himself again.
I love him.
Because he introduced himself to Valkyrie first when he was on her Pegasus. Like,
yeah, he just keeps introducing himself to everybody. He's trying to be polite, but it's like, everyone's fighting Peter, just shut up.
So she's standing above him, and she's like, I'm Peter Parker. And she's like, what do you got for me, Peter Parker?
He's like...
He holds up the gauntlet.
He's like, I don't know how you're going to get it. And then all the women show up, and they're like, we got her covered, or whatever. And it's just like... Yeah, and it's just like, yes. Like, all of you. Like, it's totally self-serving, like, to, like, you know... Be like, these are all the women in the MCU.
No, okay, so I listened to Only Stupid Answers, and Hector Navarro, you see him on the Schmodown, he was the former champion.
Yes.
What's it called? You know, he talks about that a little bit, and it's like, it's a political statement. You know, Marvel's like...
Yeah.
He doesn't want... the way he worded it is, his perception of it is like, yeah, they killed off Black Widow, and
but you still have all of these
because they don't
women.
want it to be misconstrued as, you killed off the only female Avenger, didn't you? And it's like, no. Look at who we have. Yeah, because I did see some of that after the movie. Like, that was some of the, like, first things that I saw. It was like, you really killed off the original, like, one of the only women. It's like, what the fuck do you mean one of the only women? Like, do you not see all of these women? Like, sure, they came in, like, later in the game, but, like, they're still here and they're still amazing. Just counting them off, you get Valkyrie, Gamora, Nebula, Okoye, Hope, Van Dyne, who else am I saying? Carol.
Scarlet Witch. And just...
I feel like I'm blanking still, but like
there's so many.
That's just
there's
7
so many
like,
people
right off the bat.
Yeah, there's just so many of them, and they're just like, hello there, and I'm like, yes. Mm-hmm. I was like 100% just yes, this is great, and they all just go off and fight and stuff.
Yeah,
and like do all of that jazz, and it's just I love it all so much. Just so many things, and then you get like. You get that moment with Doctor Strange and Tony being like,
are we going to win this? Is this it?
And he's like, if I tell you, then it won't happen. Yeah. And it's like, I think that's kind of when you get the first hint of like,
yeah.
Like, what does that mean? Like, that has more meaning than just like, I can't tell you.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, it's a secret kind of thing. And then it comes back again when they're all kind of getting beat up, I guess.
We're also skipping a moment I love. The stupid comedy throwaway.
Okay.
But I love it.
Go.
When Thor and Cap are fighting back to back with their respective
and they they can like switch off with them.
Well, they reach, right? Because he's calling Mjolnir, but he's calling Stormbreaker, and
then they're like, oh.
And Thor's like, no, you get the small one, and they trade.
Yes. It's so I love it so much, and it's
so
just
great.
like so fucking badass to see that.
Could you imagine Cap using Stormbreaker? Just swinging a giant fucking axe.
I'm pretty sure he did at some point. Like, I'm pretty sure they, like...
You think he did, like... They got one swing in and then they realized, like, what was going on?
I'm pretty sure, like, at some point they were kind of, like, trading off. Like, when they were fighting Thanos on their own.
Guess we'll have to see it again.
Yes, guess so. Because I'm pretty sure, like, because once they were like, oh, Cap can also...
Wield it.
Do it, then they were just like, well, I threw this one, here's this one, throw this one, kind of thing. You know, like, just hit him with whatever you got. And they are able to, with those, so they use it. But yeah, and so then you get just the fucking major death.
You get a solid showdown, and people were like, Captain Marvel is the most powerful Avenger, and she holds Thanos off very well.
Yeah,
like, she doesn't let him close that hand.
Like they're literally like fucking trying to tug of war that shit, and he fucking punches her straight in the face, and she just looks at him and she fucking smirks.
No, wrong. He uses that fucking cheat code. Sorry to Will actually you, but he uses that fucking he headbutts her, and I was about to fucking scream.
You're like, you better fucking stop with this headbutting bullshit.
I'm so fucking tired of this bullshit.
Right, just straight in the face, and she's just like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, what else you got?
See, but then you get that.
But then you get the what else you got?
Yeah. that one character flaw of like being overpowered is you're like bitch, and then but then
you also get it off guard
because he's not stupid. He's a brilliant tactician.
Yeah, and I feel like she also was going into that expecting him to just keep hitting her instead of like
ripping the power stone off and punching her.
Yeah, exactly. Like no one was gonna be like, oh well, let me just this right off real quick, kind of thing. So it's like she is so powerful because she can't.
It takes an infinity stone to take her out.
Exactly, and it didn't even like. It's not like it didn't do damage, but it didn't do so much damage.
It didn't kill her.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
It would have anybody else.
It kind of just was like, I pushed you away from me long enough for me to get this and get it away, and
so then that's when Doctor Strange holds up the finger because Tony's looking at him now that he has the gauntlet.
Yeah, and
he's like
shit.
One. You still see his handshake too. You know what I mean? Like the damage to his hands are still there, but he's like one, and Tony's like,
he's like, what?
He knows, so he rushes, of course, grabs the hand. Thanos punches him and throws him away, and snaps, and nothing. And that's, again, our audience gasped. They were like,
yeah, because you get the snap and you're like, oh my god, again?
Yep.
You're like, I can't do this again.
And then it's like, he looks and it's like, they're gone. And Tony
has them.
On his mini gauntlet.
Yeah. And it's like, oh my god. And then he's like, and you see like that struggle for him to just be able to hold all of that power and like.
Thanos tries to get that I am inevitable a fucking again.
And he's just like, I am Iron Man. And
snaps. And then they all just slowly start dusting.
And it's just like, holy shit.
And Thanos, like, he knows he can't do anything, so he just sits. He just accepts the defeat.
And it's great. And I also like how it also dusted their ship.
Well, an army's an army.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, yes, consider it. You don't have that much wreckage to deal with.
I guess.
Or like that added alien wreckage.
I think they learned from Winter Soldier when they crashed the helicarriers all across Washington, D.C.
Yes.
They're like, let's not deal with this shit again. So...
They're like, dust them, and while you're at it, clean up too.
And then you see what happens to Tony, which is a little
see him
burnt.
Slowly fading, I guess, in the best way to describe that.
His eyes just like all over the place, like frantically trying to find something.
Yeah, and then
Peter shows up first. Well, no, Rhodey and Pepper are there already, but Peter runs up and he's like, "We did it, Mr. Stark. We did it. We won. Like we did it." And Pepper's
it's kind of just like everybody. Not like everybody is immediately around him, but everyone
comes to
sees,
him.
and knows what's happening. So it's kind of like, eh. But Peter's the only one that like runs up to him
because he has a relation. He has like the
yeah, and it's also like you're like my mentor. We barely got there, and then I disappeared for 5 years.
Well, he doesn't know that, but yeah.
I mean, he was told that it's been 5 years
in the most brief way possible. Strange is like
he knew that something was wrong, and there was a time
jump.
Yeah, and then
I made time puns this time.
No time heist.
I made so many ice puns and no time puns.
Whatever. Anyways, and so you get, he got his mentor, disappeared for 5 years, finally came back, and finally
arrived just in time.
Oh my god. Whatever. And then you finally got Tony accepting him as his mentee.
Well, he's not gonna call him son, but we know that's how it goes.
As his son. And so, like, you see, like, when they reunited, too, like, how that affected Peter, and like, he finally got what he has always wanted, and now it's gone. Like, he's not getting it anymore. And so, it's, like, hard, obviously, for him to
it's also
let that go.
Because Pepper, like, kind of gets him away, right?
Yeah.
Because as much as Peter means well, he's still negatively impacting Tony's psyche, probably. Because Tony's probably looking at Peter and being like, nope, I still have to keep going.
Yeah, and being like, we won. Like, come on.
But Pepper knows, just like she said at the very beginning, we did it. You did it. You can rest now. And then he's to let go out.
Yeah, and it's just so sad. And it's just like, and it's so great because it's, or not like so great because
You sound like you're tearing up.
No.
I heard a voice crack.
I'm tired. Anyways, it's like, it's not great, obviously, because it's really hard to see, but it's like...
It's great storytelling. It's great visually.
Yeah, and it's just like, and it's really amazing acting, too, because you can see how like, when Pepper does pull Peter away, that she wants to break down. Obviously, like, this is the love of her life. Like, they have a child together, and, like, they've
been through so much together.
They've been through so much, and, like, finally, this past 5 years, they've had their, like, ideal life, and, you know, obviously, it's hard to say goodbye to somebody so special to you and all this stuff, but you see that she needs to hold it together, like you said, like, she has to, or else he can't be at peace. He can't let go.
The two oldest, like, women actors, not oldest in age, but, like, the longest actresses in these films, with Scarlett Johansson and Gwyneth Paltrow, they give, like, the best performances, emotionally speaking, like,
it's so good. Like, overall, their acting was absolutely top notch. It sells
all the pain of the movie. It
just gets across, and you're just like, no. And then you get, you know, when Tony's light goes out, she just is finally able to break down and have her moment with him, which is so sad. And then it goes to his funeral.
Yeah.
Which is also really sad.
You have the Tony has a heart. Or proof that Tony Stark has a heart from the first movie. Mm-hmm. They're sending it off into the lake. Sort of, it's almost Viking-ish, but they don't light it on fire.
Yeah, they're not like, let me put an arrow in.
And you see all the, not like the army, but you see the Avengers. You see your groups.
You see everybody.
It goes Pepper. Mm-hmm. And then what?
Morgan and Happy are with her.
I thought they sat in the back. No, you're right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Pepper, Morgan, Happy. Then it's Hulk, I think. Hulk and Cap, I think.
Yeah.
And then go back further, and it's Peter and Aunt May.
Mm-hmm. And
then it's the Guardians.
Yeah, and then you get...
Clint and his family.
Yeah. And Bucky, Sam, and Wanda all together.
And then behind them, the mystery child that everybody was trying to figure the fuck out who he was, it's Harvey from Iron Man 3.
Yes, I was like, where the fuck did you come from?
Right. But, you know... It's not a weird thought to assume that...
He would be there.
Yeah, because, you know, they had a pretty tight relationship the way Iron Man 3 ended. When he decked out his...
Assuming he didn't get dusted, because I assume he didn't because he's older now.
Yeah, he's fucking
he probably kept in touch with Tony.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and then Carol's standing at the very back. And... Fury. Mm-hmm. So, very touching... And then, like, it doesn't get into anything serious, but it gets into something kind of light, but, like, also kind of heavy.
But also, like, oh.
Like, this part made me cry the second time going in.
With Happy and Morgan.
Where she's, you know, again, a really great callback. Where he's like, how you doing? She's like, I'm hungry. I want a cheeseburger. Which is, you know, Tony comes from the Middle East after having survived being, you know, abducted and everything, and he's like, I need a Whopper.
Yeah. And he's like, your dad loved cheeseburgers.
Yeah, because, you know, Happy knows, you know, he's like, cheeseburgers, I can give you that, you know, it's not...
Yeah, it's like something.
Anything to help her.
Like, can't replace your dad, but I can get you all the cheeseburgers you
want. And that, like, hit me hard, because it's like, I thought of my niece, you know, she's old enough to convey what she wants, she can't really speak as well, like, she's as
a 5-year-old.
Yeah, she can't speak as well as a 5-year-old, she's still only 2. But she's old enough to tell me, like, when she wants to watch Star Wars or she's talking about dinosaurs and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh, my heart, that hurts. I'd do anything for my niece.
Yeah, and then just, like, the simplicity of a child being like, I'm hungry, I want a cheeseburger.
Yeah. Amongst all the dark sadness going around. What happens after that?
Cap.
Oh, is that what? Mm-hmm. Okay. So then they're going back in time. He's returning all the stones.
He's returning all the stones. He's returning...
Mjolnir. Because the first time I saw him have it, I was like, why is he taking Mjolnir with him? And then I was like, oh, right. He
has to put it back.
He has to put it back.
Thor still needs it.
Yeah. So he returns everything.
And then he goes, he doesn't come back.
And Banner's like
he's supposed to.
He missed his jump. And, you know, Mackie's like, bring him back. Meanwhile, Bucky's like, not freaking out at all. And
but he's like...
He knows what's up. And, you know, he's like, Sam, look. And you see... Old Man Cap, which comic callback, technically speaking, in my opinion, because Old Man Cap was a thing for a little bit, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. Like and
they did that.
And they aged him up with prosthetics and what I'm assuming is some CG so well that I was like, is that him? Like I
Yeah, because at first you're like, that's just another old man. Like they
and I
recasted
thought,
it.
yeah, I thought, and I was like, they must have done like voiceover or something, but like had the same.
But then like the more you look at his face, the more like you're
It's
like, no,
him.
that is Chris Evans.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because they've done so much de-aging, right?
Yeah.
It's like, what?
They're making everybody look younger, but now he's old. Yeah,
it's
and then
like,
you
no.
get that moment with Sam where he's kind of just like, where's your shield? And he brings it out of his little
Well,
case.
he's like, where'd you go?
And he's like,
And he's like, I got some of that life Tony was talking about.
Yeah. And it's just,
He's like, you want to talk? He's like, what's that on your finger? And it's like, you know.
he's like, you want to tell me about her?
He's like,
no.
I don't think I will. He's like, and then it's like the shield moment where it's like, what's that? And he's like, well, you know, I think you could use this.
Mm-hmm. And then Sam's like, a world without Captain America, and he's like, not anymore.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
and Bucky gives him the
yes.
nod too, right?
Yeah, because at first when they're both standing next to each other, because we all kind of knew that the torch was going to be passed
but we
in
didn't
this movie,
know
but
who.
we didn't know who it was going to be, because both Sam and Bucky have held the shield and been Captain America at different points in the comic, so it was kind of like, who's it going to be?
I've seen some arguments on that where it's like, some people, obviously it's like, you know, team Iron Man, team Cap, where it's like team Bucky, team Sam. It's like, who is it going to be?
Yeah.
The best point I saw against people that wanted it to be Bucky is like, yes, Bucky is Cap's number one boy, but he's still
not
the Winter Soldier. He's still a terrorist.
Yeah, he's still...
There's some hang-ups on that.
Like, like people would be like, no, I don't think you can be the symbol of America.
Especially given not given his history, but just also given that they don't really hide identities. Because Aunt May totally knows.
Yeah.
Now that if you don't go to Iron Man's funeral, standing like behind or in front of the Hulk, I don't remember, and not be like, well, my kid's a superhero. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
and then be like, look at all of these people.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so there is that.
And, you know, he gets the shield, and they sort of address it for the audience where he's like, how does it feel? He's like, it feels like it's somebody else's, and he's like, no, it's not. It's yours. Mm-hmm. And that's when it ends. Right.
And then he's like, I hope I can live up to it. And he's like, I know you will.
Yeah. And then
that's when it flashes back to
Cap's timeline. Cap's alternate timeline.
Mm-hmm. Where he finally gets his one dance with Peggy, and that made me cry.
You already look like you're going to cry again.
Because it's so sad.
It's
not like so sad, but it's just like, finally.
Yeah. After so many years.
So good. And it's just like, and it's so sweet, too, because it's just like, you don't get the, like, he's walking into her house moment, and she's like, what the hell? It's you? You get, like...
You get them dancing.
They've already been together. Or, like, they had their, like, reconnection, and now they're like, this is what our lives are going to be now.
Mm-hmm. Just dancing in there. Mm-hmm. In that nice little neighborhood to the song from Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and then, obviously, because you got Old Man Cap first, you know...
That he lived with.
And he has a great life.
And I've seen some, like, debate where it's like, well, they don't really specify who Peggy married in Winter Soldier, because when he goes to Smithsonian,
oh yeah,
she says Cap rescued my husband, but he didn't know that, you know, so Steve's still impacting my life. But like my problem with that timeline wise is that if Cap went there, technically he created an alternate timeline, and also technically, while he would have the technology to come back, could he have inadvertently caused another timeline? Like, has he seen other realities because of that?
Right.
Different future? Because he put time into, like, the 40s and 50s moving forward. So, he was a hero. Did he see the rise of Captain Marvel? Did he see, like, other stuff? Like just
did
go
he
differently?
see things but know what it is now? Mm-hmm. Kind of thing. I mean...
You know,
it's a potential for more things.
Yeah, so it's a weird timeline thing to like kind of look at.
It's either like it is something new, or it's kind of like it just is what it is now. Like just let it be type of thing. So, I mean, like it is kind of a conflict for all of it, but it's also like just let it happen.
Yeah,
like
it'll get fleshed out later. We'll figure it out.
Or it's just kind of like it doesn't matter. He got his happy ending. Like whatever, let it be. Kind of thing.
So that's it. That's the end. And then there was no end credit scene. You just got Iron Man.
That's what really made it feel like that was it.
The hammering?
The, like, no
Oh.
end credit scene.
I thought that the fact that they ended it with Iron Man's hammering the metal, I thought that was a good cap for it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it wasn't like the end, it was sort of like Michael Myers breathing at the end of Halloween.
Yeah, it's kind of like, but it's like, but still alive. It keeps going.
How did you perceive the Iron Man thing? Did you take it as anything? Because for me, I was like, this isn't the end.
At the end?
Yeah. For me, it was like things will continue on. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's kind of just like, this is over, but it's kind of like the memory of Iron Man. Like, he is gone now, but he's never going to be gone.
Yeah. We didn't talk about his will.
Oh, yeah.
Not that there's anything super crazy in it, right?
With his hologram.
It's just that, I hope we leave the world better than we found it. That's all I can hope for. And he tells Morgan, I love you 3000.
Yeah. So sweet.
Yeah. But, any last thoughts? Any final things?
It was a great ass movie. And it feels weird that there's still going to be something after this.
Yeah.
Because we get Far From Home. But I think it makes sense to have something after this so we can kind of see the aftermath of the undusting.
Yeah. Far From Home's the last movie for Phase.
That's confirmed.
Yeah. Well, that's confirmed. I think it's Phase 3 still. Probably. Which is weird. Because
it's kind of like
it's like ending with Ant-Man.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing with like after Age of Ultron, you got Ant-Man.
I know, but it's just like, I don't know. It almost feels like a promise that Peter will be the future of. But like we know that Tom Holland might not be because
because of all the things.
Yeah, Sony has the rights to him. But Thor renewed his contract. Mm-hmm. Well, we didn't talk about Thor's ending. He as Guardians of the Galaxy. They're back.
As Guardians of the Galaxy. He gave his throne to Valkyrie.
He's fucking crazy.
I love him.
Like the look?
Yes.
Where he's looking at Star-Lord and just like, of course we know who's in charge. And he's like, of course. And it's like, he looks at him like a little more close. Like, of course. Like, he's even the fucking crazy eyes. Like, I'll fuck you up, man.
But I want to see that happen, so I don't care.
And Gamora.
Potentially.
Not dead.
Mm-hmm.
Just the searching thing was going off. It wasn't.
Mm-hmm. And then he swiped it away before we got an answer on that. So that's going to be freaking dope to see. And just...
And Guardians 3 is finally confirmed to start filming next year.
With James Gunn.
Yep.
Yay.
It's amazing how things work out.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing what saying you're going to work with DC does for you.
Yeah, it might make you shit your britches a little bit. That was it as far as endings. You see Cassie with Scott and Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Valkyrie is...
Clint with his family.
Oh, yeah. You don't see anything with Doctor Strange, do you?
No.
A little strange. Huh. None of that. It's Guardians of the Galaxy. Valkyrie is now Queen of Asgard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it, I think.
Dope. Yeah.
Strange. Again, it's weird to talk about, like, the end. Like, even talking about it, like, it's weird talking about it just as weird as seeing it, because it's like, now what?
Yeah,
it
really is.
You really can't shake that feeling of, like, now what? But, overall...
It's a great time. It's been a great 11 years. If this was all we had, then this
I'd
would
be okay with it.
Okay, yeah. It'd be worth it.
Definitely. So...
Love it. Love all the comic book references. Just a good-ass time.
Right? There's so much. I feel like talking about it... We've been doing this for 2 hours. I feel like talking about it like at this like length still isn't enough to encapsulate just how...
say everything.
Great it was.
And just, like, there's so much more. Like, we're going to have to make a whole separate episode to be like, what's next?
Yeah. With WandaVision, Bucky and Falcon... Or Winter Soldier and Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
Loki's whatever. Because that one doesn't have a name. But...
Yeah.
But I think Winter Soldier and Falcon and Winter Soldier is like confirmed the name. WandaVision's what the other one's called. Mm-hmm. And then just Loki.
Yeah, and then, the potential of the new MCU, especially with Disney getting Fox.
Mm-hmm. But we know that...
None of that is going to happen for a while.
Yeah, Feige was like, X-Men ain't happening for at least 5 years, guys, sorry.
Yeah.
Which isn't terrible because you think about it, that's 10 Marvel movies if they continue at the track they're going. At 2 movies a year.
Yeah.
And with the Fox deal, it could easily bump up to 3 or 4.
Okay, well, that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah. Any last thoughts?
Just a good ass time.
We love you 3000.
We love you 3000.
Thank you guys for listening. If you listened to all of this, it was quite a lot, but talking about this for like an hour seems damn near impossible.
To just condense it.
Yeah, and it almost
would be a disservice.
Yeah, it would be a disrespect to the movie because it deserves all the talking.
Everything that it meant. We're gonna talk about it again. Like, let's just face it. We're gonna have to do another episode.
We'll talk about the ramifications of it. Yeah,
yep.
Definitely. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed. If you made it all the way through, if you did, you're a trooper. You deserve a hug.
10 out of 10.
Yeah. We're the Nerd Spectrum Podcast. We love you 3000.
See you later, Gators.
Oh my god.